Stop settling for mediocre desserts, treat yourself to Gina's cakes instead. Gina, a former Playboy centerfold, has traded the spotlight for the sweet life in Las Vegas. Her 24-hour bakery, Gina's Cakes, serves up the best cakes and donuts in town. Whether you're a tourist or a local, Gina's irresistible creations are just what you need to satisfy your sweet tooth day or night. Visit us at the corner of 4th and Saratoga or cakes instead. Gina, a former Playboy centerfold, has traded the spotlight for the sweet life in Las Vegas. Her 24-hour bakery, Gina's Cakes, serves up the best cakes and donuts in town. Whether you're a tourist or a local, Gina's irresistible creations are just what you need to satisfy your sweet tooth day or night. Visit us at the corner of 4th and Saratoga or call us at 702-777-7277. Gina's Cakes, Vegas never tasted so good.
MHH Network, everybody. Just getting the show all set up and warmed up as we run the board, make sure everything's in order. To answer your question, is everything in order? I'm gonna go with yes. Just like I do every show. Just smile and nod.
The moon is full and the stars are aligned and the sky is very black.
Alright.
It's the night of the biggest vampire of the month on the attack. He spreads his wings as he takes on the air like smoke from a roaring fire. Salivating relentless to that sweet carnal desire. On your marks, get ready, set, go!
There's definitely an echo in there, right?
On your marks, get ready, set, go! On your marks, get ready, set, go!
Oh wait, I think you fixed it.
Set, go! On your marks, get ready, set, go! So get on with the show!
All right, everybody, we are live from Las Vegas, Nevada. It is TWO Stone, also from the upper peninsula thingamajiggy, the upper northwest portion of the United States, the Pacific Northwest. This is TWO Stone. I am Johnny.
And I am Marco, and I too am too stoned. For it is Tuesday night, another night for another excuse to get too stoned and talk about nothing.
Hell yeah, rolling around in the marijuana limo, looking for hope. Did we get rid of the echo? Has the echo been eliminated?
It sounds like it to me.
Okay, good. Because I had my monitor going in the background, so it was probably coming through the
Gotcha. Okay.
Turn your radio off if you're going to call in kind of situation.
I got you. All right.
So we're here. It's Tuesday. We're too stoned. I, Tim Knight, am back on the First Class Funk.
Ooh, nice.
It's indica, and I also dropped a 600 milligram THC Delta 9.
Ooh, interesting. All right, so we'll see which one conquers the other.
And I was listening on the radio today, Howard Stern again. I don't know why I keep bringing him up like he's some kind of... But he was talking about smoking weed finally today.
Oh, really?
And all the guys on there are like, what kind of edibles you taking? They're like, yeah, I take like a pretty heavy, edibles. So, I'm doing about a 5 to 10 milligram edibles, and it gets me off. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing 600 functioning.
Yeah, yeah. I think the hardest I've ever done was like back-to-back 250s, and even then, I felt like I was going to die. But I would,
No,
but when I would do edibles, I would still do like 50 or 100, and I'd be fine. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, the key to do it, the first time I did this exact same edible, I think you listened to the show, I literally saw a dead man talking to me. Now, fast forward, what's it been, October when I started to now 6 months?
Close enough.
Yeah, 6 months now, I drop a 600 milligram and I'm fine. I can do every, it's not that big of a deal. But then when you add the weed on top of it, it just fucking, it's like chewing and smoking cigarettes at the same time.
God, I have never chewed tobacco in my life, and I hope to God I never do, because that shit is just nasty. And that's hypocritical of me to say, I know, because I smoke cigarettes and I smoke weed. But at least I don't fucking chew.
No, I chewed when I was a kid.
Ugh.
And we found a tin of it one day outside of Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And, growing up in a junkyard and, in the late 80s and early 90s, that's what you did in Wisconsin. You chewed tobacco and drank beer.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you've seen the adults doing it. I get you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, I remember the first time I did it, that I put that bile is the most bitter, vile, disgusting
Yes.
flavor on the planet, especially Copenhagen, which is like, it's like, I guess smoking Camel, no filters.
Ugh.
That's what Copenhagen is in the world of chew.
Gross.
And I don't know. We chewed it and I threw up. It was gross.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. How old were you?
I think I was 12.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no shit.
But for some reason, I woke up the next day and I wanted some more. It was crazy. It didn't
Yeah.
work. It was like, it made me throw up, but I want more of it.
Actually, the funny thing is, chewing tobacco was really popular back in the Old West, as you could probably guess. But do you know why? Do you know what the marketing pitch was for chewing tobacco?
No.
It was used for numbing tooth pain.
Oh, okay.
So technically, yeah, it would numb your tooth pain, but it also made your teeth 10 times fucking worse. You know what I mean? So it's like, did it work? Yeah, but it's also fucking up your teeth still. But this is the 1800s we're talking about, so this is at a point when a dentist and a barber were the same fucking thing.
Oh, God. I can't believe that people made it past 20 years old back then.
Dude, seriously, man, there are some crazy ass stories where if you dig deep enough, it's amazing that we are in the position that we are in right now. Like, I'm sure that you're at least familiar with the story of Lewis and Clark, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I learned from one of my Aussie mates that they have their own kind of story that's similar to Lewis and Clark. It's called Burke and Wells, and Burke and Wells tried to do a similar expedition, but instead of from going east to west, they went from southern Australia to northern Australia. Now, I don't know if you know this about Australia, but the middle of Australia is nothing but fucking desert
That's right.
and things that will kill you, whether it's a spider, a snake, a cassowary, an ostrich, emu, whatever the fuck everything will kill you.
Even a
So,
kangaroo will kill you.
yes. So, apparently what happened was the expedition did not end well, and Burke was discovered by some natives who saved him and then brought him back to civilization. But because of this, there's a phrase in Australia where you may hear somebody say, "Oh, he's gone Burko." It's in reference to Burke because even though to the day he died, he swears that he didn't do it, he definitely ate whales.
Well, how
He
else is he going to
swear
survive?
exactly, but he swore to the day he died that he did not eat whales. But he's like, but where's they only found you. You don't know where his body is, and you somehow lived long enough for the natives to find you, but Wells has been dead for a while. Like, I don't know, man. Sounds like you ate him to me. Like, so yeah, if you hear an Aussie say that they've gone Burko, it means that they've gone crazy.
I wonder. I would not have the balls to just get on a horse and see what's going on back then. You know what I mean?
For real, you don't know what the hell's out there, and the ones that do, the natives, they tell you, oh yeah, there's demons. There's like spirits out there.
Yeah. And the natives themselves will kill you.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, those are the nice ones that'll talk to you. The not nice ones will just straight up kill you on sight.
It's amazing the amount of balls those guys had back then. I mean, just
Well,
that's some big balls.
I mean, they had bows and arrows and leather armor, and we had guns. So, that kind of tipped the scales in our favor a little bit, I think.
I don't see right now if there was another country, right?
Yeah.
That's like better than our country, and it's like it's going to be better than ever. You should go there right now. There's no way I'm getting on a boat for 3 months to travel over to somewhere that's not even been. I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
And also, there isn't a chance that you would even survive the trip over there.
And besides, only buddy you have to believe how cool it is are the people that actually decided to come back.
Right. The ones
there wasn't no.
Yeah, and the ones that could make it back are usually the ones who funded the expedition to begin with.
And they're like, yeah, just give us all this money. We'll bring you to this great place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually that's kind of it's kind of similar. I don't know how familiar you are with the story of the conquistadors.
But I just I think the simulation thing is making a lot more sense. There's no way 300 million people came from Europe to over here.
I don't know if it's not 300 million people came over from Europe all at once. It was a gradual process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that we're 250 years old, the country.
Yes.
And that means 300 million. That means 1 million people a year had to come over. I guess that makes sense. Never mind.
And also the ones that somehow ended up surviving, you also got to understand, like, if you look up pictures from people back in like the 1800s, and they have, it's just like a man, a wife, and they have like 8 kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's because the conditions were so shit back then. You didn't know if half of them were even gonna make it, if they were gonna live past 12, if they were gonna get trampled by a horse or bit by a snake or just get sick and die. Like, you just had to keep pumping them out, hoping that most of them survived somehow.
And plus, they needed labor. They needed people to work
Exactly.
the farm. That's why they had all the goddamn kids. It wasn't because they loved children. It's they needed workers.
Exactly. Yeah. Life was shit. And that was only 200 to like 100 years ago. It's not that long ago. And that's what blows my mind about history and the fact that people don't care about it. It's like, do you have any idea how crazy shit was like 50 years ago?
I mean, I won't even go on a 7-day luxurious cruise with everything I love on it. No, that's too much for me. I sit and watch those Monsters of Rock or, the Summer of '99, the Creed cruise, and all these kick-ass cruises.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not getting on that fucking boat. No way. I want to go.
Just not on the boat. But these guys
literally got on hand-built wood boats with, like, sheets.
Yeah.
Hardly. Their food would go bad, like, halfway over. Oh, it must have been nasty.
Yeah. Smoke on the Water is literally a song about how performing on the water is a bad idea.
I'm just talking about the old rickety boats. There's a Santa Maria. You know, have you ever,
Yeah.
when you go look at these boats in person, you're like, how the fuck did this get over? I wouldn't even put this on a lake, let alone sail it across the sea.
Yeah, and you had to get a crew of people just to operate the damn thing. Not just to like, you need like dozens and dozens of men just to operate the thing. And then you need another crew of people dedicated to just navigating the thing. And then you have the bunch of people that you're supposed to feed and carry over to this trip to God knows fucking where, and they tell you, no, there's land over there. Trust me, there's land over there.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah. Nothing but
You-
pure potential and trees. Lots and lots of fucking trees.
yeah, I don't see any of my family members doing that. I mean, everybody I know on both sides of my family is lazy as well. Part of my family got brought over on boats. They weren't.
I was gonna say,
They
they
were.
didn't really have a choice in that one.
Yeah, they didn't really volunteer to come over. Half of my family, but the other half of my family, the white half, is lazy as fuck too. I'm thinking. I'm thinking our great relatives probably fled because of some criminal activity.
um, well, on one side of my family, they immigrated as they were like Eastern Europeans, and they immigrated in the 20s. And the other side of my family, we immigrated to America in the colonial era, and the funny thing is that there's a certain strain of them where they actually ended up like it was like two brothers, and then the rest of them were cousins. But they actually ended up forming an outlaw gang in like the colonial era of this country.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, and they actually fucking ran around and robbed shit, and they stole horses, and I think to this day they committed the largest heist in the history of the U.S. Treasury. And so apparently, what happened was, it was a cart that was full of sterling silver that was meant for tax purposes. And this this outlaw gang, they I'm not entirely sure what their real name was because they had a bunch of different names because it was the colonies. They called them whatever the fuck they called them.
Yeah, the
Um,
OGs.
right, exactly. So they stole the cart full of sterling and they hid it somewhere. And to this day, nobody knows where that cart is. Every single one of them took the information of where that was hidden to their graves. Even though they were killed or died of sickness or hung, none of them wrote it down or said anything. So they just stole a shit ton of silver and did God knows what with it. We don't know.
And that's what's missing in today's society. Bros that won't roll on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I don't trust anybody not to roll on me. I don't tell it. Well, I just roll on myself live on the air. Thank God nobody listens to this thing. But, you know, I know who's going down first. They're going to go, well, your buddy's fingering you. And then they're going to sing like a fucking bird. Everybody. There's no, what do you call it? Loyalty. Or there's no code among thieves anymore.
there was never honor among thieves.
That's what I was looking for. Thank God the edible's kicking in, right? This early.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that it kicked in early instead of halfway through.
But that just doesn't exist anymore.
No, that. Well, again, just because conditions were just so shit back then, you had to rely on each other. Even if you only half liked the guy, you at least knew he wasn't going to kill you in your sleep.
Yeah, or rat you out to the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Used to be able to commit crimes, and people would keep their fucking mouths shut. They would, guys used to not talk to their wives about anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What do you mean you
that was
told your wife? What do you mean you told your wife? What are you, stupid?
yeah, yeah. Telling the wife has been the downfall of how many mafia bosses now?
Yeah, I think I've told the story on the show before about the guy that was playing in Rat, who
I think,
called up.
I think, yeah, I think you did, but refresh me.
So he gets his big gig. He's on tour with Rat. He's on the tour bus. This is in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And first night out on the tour, Steven, the singer, takes two 20-year-old chicks back to the lounge and fucks the living shit out of them.
Okay.
So he's on the phone with his girlfriend going, dude, Steve, this dude, he's 50 years old and he's still banging two 20-year-old girls. It's fucking crazy. Well, the next morning, the girls have brunch.
Mm.
And she goes, oh, it's so cool how you let your husband just go and sleep with all those groupies on the road. And she's like, excuse me? So they stop at the next town. Steven calls his wife and she fucking loses it on him. And he's like,
Well, yeah.
fucking save on. So he goes down, fires the guy right then and there. He goes, you motherfucker, you know what's on the bus stays on the bus. What the fuck are you doing? He's like, I was talking to my wife. He goes, you're fucking done. He got fired.
Yeah.
You keep your mouth shut. Bachelor parties.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's
Do you know?
that's why the moniker for Vegas for the long time is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and it's not just because it was owned by the mafia. It's because people understood.
I've been to bachelor parties with a groom. I've gotten blowjobs from 3 or 4 different ladies at the same time, and I mean, doing shit that's not going to get a marriage through the next day if anybody finds out. But you know what? My friends are cool. What happened last night? We just drank a couple of beers and played some cards. Not much.
It's all I remember anyway. I don't know. I had a few drinks.
Yeah, but there's always that one little fucker. Yeah, it was crazy. There was whores there, and I said no. There's just nobody's cool anymore. Can't do nothing.
No, you can't do anything. And there are some people that just have no self-awareness at all. Like they're just like I've had people out to the property before, and as you do when you're showing off the property, you go shoot guns.
Oh, of course.
And of course, because you got all this land, and he's like, yeah, you want to go shoot up this milk carton real quick? He's like, yeah, sure. And and then as soon as I fucking pull out a rifle or a pistol and go shoot, I see these fucking idiots pulling out their phone and start taking pictures of me. I'm just like, I'm sorry, did you fucking ask?
Do I want people to know that I'm out here firing guns?
Yeah, yeah. What the fuck, man? Why are you trying to snitch on me? And I'm not saying I'm doing anything fucking suspicious. Those guns are legal. They're in my name. But it's just like, what makes you think I want people to know what guns I have?
Or where I even live, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and where I live. Like, what in the fuck is wrong with you guys?
What
But
is
it's
this
not just them. It's so many people where they just whip out their phones and start recording shit in just like random intervals or at random. Like people just whip out their phones and record you at random conversations. It's like, am I being interrogated? What the fuck is going on right now? Like,
why are you recording me?
Right.
I ran into I ran into a weird thing too when I was going down on a woman. I look up and she's filming it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't mind, but that's something you kind of want to ask permission for, first.
Yeah. Yeah, if you would have asked, I would have been down for it, but it's just a little unexpected. It would have been nice to know.
Can you can't enjoy any part of your life without filming it? I mean, you can't even enjoy that? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Maybe it's just because it's because I still have a good memory. Maybe it'll change as I get older. But I don't know, I don't really see a point in taking a picture of everything that I do on a daily basis like everybody else seems to. You know?
Here's what I run into. I've got pictures from 20 years ago,
Sure.
digital pictures. I
Yeah,
don't know where the fuck they went.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You go over to your grandma's house, she's got fucking 18 goddamn archived books of photos, and they'll always be there. They're not, unless your house catches on fire.
Well, yeah, unless they're literally destroyed. But yeah.
You know, you put everything on a little thumb drive. You're like, oh, I'm going to transfer it later. You're moving. Like, oh, what's on this thumb drive? Oh, I don't even want to know.
Actually, there's a thing that I saw that, for those of you that are listening right now, since Mother's Day is just around the corner, maybe you should look into this. There's a thing that you could get on, I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon, but it's basically like a digital screen with a picture frame around it. But what you do is you load up a thumb drive with various pictures, and you just plug in the thumb drive into the back of it, and it just plays a slideshow of the pictures that are on the thumb drive.
That's
So if you
great.
have a so if you have a bunch of sappy pictures of you and your mom or you and your wife or whatever, just load that shit up on a thumb drive, plug it in, and give it to them as a Happy Mother's Day, and then they'll cry.
Yeah, you got to do something for mom for Mother's Day. That's just a given.
Yeah, you have to.
Or a picture frame will do the trick.
Yeah, a picture frame that has multiple pictures and not just one.
Go to aria.com, mention the bonfire right now, get 20% off.
20% off the picture frame?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, damn.
Put in code bonfire, 20% off. Why do I know that? Because they advertised it like 18 times during their show.
Oh, did they?
About the picture frame, which is a great idea.
It is a great idea. I've done it before. It works every time.
You know, moms just, they get it all. I don't care how hardened of a criminal you are. I don't care how cool of a guy you are. You will still walk into a flower store and buy flowers for your mom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You will
Yeah.
do shit for your mom that you won't do for any other woman ever.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how many times I've literally walked into like a perfume section of a mall or like a wine section in a fucking in like an alcohol section of the fucking store or something like that. Just like, or I'm like looking for cookbooks. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know a damn thing about this. I don't give a single fuck about this. And I'm literally walking into like the girliest shit that I have ever seen in my life. And I am wearing a Slayer t-shirt and basketball shorts. And I am walking in there going like, yeah, where's size 14? And
Oh,
they
God.
and then they just kind of look at me and just like, listen, I know what you think, but it's not that. I know you're thinking of some Buffalo Bill shit right now, but no, it's not that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like your mom, there's something wrong with you.
I mean, I have met and heard of some terrible mothers, though. There are some
Oh,
exceptions for sure.
oh, my ex-wife's mother. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. She literally, just a little sidetrack, a little quick story. She literally gave her a check with a shopping list, told her to go to the store and buy that shit with the check.
Okay.
So she goes to the grocery store, buys the groceries, brings them some to their mom, and then goes home. 2 hours later, 8 squad cars pull up, arrest her, throw her in jail for forging checks.
Fucking what?
Yeah, forging checks.
Wait, did her mom forge it with her name?
No, the mom sent her with the check, told her to use the check, that she did it all the time. And then called the
Okay.
cops and said she stole my checkbook and forged this check.
That was enough to get 8 squad cars pulled on you?
Well, because they said that you better bring a couple because this one's not easy to take down.
What? I mean, I don't know what this woman looks like, but 8 squad cars?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen motherfuckers get pulled over with 3 squad cars behind them. I'm like, okay, that dude has a warrant. This bitch allegedly forged a check.
Yes. And then her
What
mom
in the,
said she was armed and dangerous.
what in the absolute fuck, man?
So the police think they're coming onto some meth-infested, check-stealing, gun-toting crazy lady.
I mean,
And
how
she's like,
crazy was she?
I'm straight up literally just doing a favor for my mom.
Yes.
I mean, it goes a whole lot deeper. There's money involved and custody shit. And she did it on purpose to get a child removed from a home, kind of a deal. I mean, it is really just sick.
Yeah,
What
just
happened there?
nothing but backstabbing, conniving. Yeah, I gotcha. It's old family shit.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can your own mother be such a cunt?
Yeah, it's it's a very bizarre thing, but I think it's more of just a parallel about humans more than it is just about mothers. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, it goes back in time. I mean, even in the future, there'll be mothers betraying their daughters. Hiring assassins to come and murder their murderous daughters.
yeah. 20 in the 22nd century.
So yeah, you guys gotta go check out Twitch. I think last night's was one of our best. I think that we've
Yeah,
done so
yeah,
far.
yeah. Last night was actually a lot of fun. We got a lot done surprisingly for 3 hours. Uh, it's a good time. At Marco V193 on Twitch. Me and Johnny continued our playthrough of Mass Effect 2. We got some loyalty missions done. We're still grinding through on the story. We still got plenty of game to go through. So if you jump in and follow now, you'll catch us right in the middle of the story. So you won't be missing too much, at least not yet. But
And
I'm excited to see what happens next for sure.
this stream is for people that hate game streams.
Yes,
They
yes.
hate your typical nerdy, too deep into the game, don't understand. You literally got an idiot that knows nothing about video games, just like most of us that listen to our show. We got a little bit older diagram over here, but it's different. It's not your typical video game podcast like you see everybody else do.
No, it's
We
very much
broke
like
the mold.
yeah, it's very reminiscent of like the couch co-op days of the video game era, where it's just you know I would like to get a setup at some point to where you and me could play some co-op games. We could figure that out somehow. But at the moment, it's more so just me playing the game and Johnny, in usual fashion, just being the annoying little brother in a sense, just being like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I love it. It's good. It's
That's
a good time over there on Monday nights. And Tuesday
Oh, yeah.
nights are even more fun. We're here right now. I'm not going to promote our own show that we're doing. I still don't know why people do that.
Yeah, just in case you forgot the show that you're listening to, in case you're that fucking high.
I remember, like, on TV now, too. It's like I'm watching a show, and during the show, there's a commercial for the show. And you're like, you already got me.
especially,
You're over.
I especially love it when it's an advertisement for like it's like the season finale coming out this Friday. I'm like, I know, I'm trying to catch up, motherfucker.
fucking, I'm losing my mind with this shit. The stupidity of broadcasting lately.
It really is. It's amazing how stupid how stupid easy broadcasting has become, but also how much effort you have to put into just to be stupid.
It's it's unbelievable what is going on out there.
For real.
Oh God! I was going to do this last week, and I forget every 2 weeks. I'm going to put a list of the top 10 worst podcasts that are doing better than us.
I really don't want to go
God.
down the rabbit hole of bad podcasts. Wouldn't that basically be WATP?
You are correct, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. It's like I think you're going down a path you probably don't want to go down.
Yeah, I don't want to sit around and watch other people's podcasts.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
I'm getting to the point too where, like, when I look for videos now to do on the show, I can't find the original videos. I have to see some fucking white guy start, oh, today on the campaign trail, here's my opinion, here's the video. And you're like, oh, just, where's the video? Where did they go? Where's the original videos?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with the times that we live in is that the original video is out there somewhere, but within an hour it's been cut, edited, butchered, memed, everything that you could possibly think of. It's been scattered all over the place within an hour. So good luck trying to find the original.
Have you ever seen that video of the drummer that's in a cover band, and he's like just like Tommy Lee, he's flipping the sticks, and he's like way out of place for this band that's playing like ZZ Top, Sharp Dressed Man, at a
I think I
wedding?
have seen. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was about 10 years ago or something. So I saw that guy's podcast the other day, and he said 347 million people saw that video.
Yeah.
And he goes, you know how much money I made off of it?
0.
$37.
37. Well, yeah. If it was 10 years ago, then yeah, that was probably like long before Google found a way to monetize YouTube.
Well, it wasn't that. It's like out of the 300 something million views, only 87,000 people watched the original video.
Oh, okay.
So, like, all of these people got paid for that video, all of these channels, but he didn't get
That used
shit.
it. Yeah.
So, if you put a good video out, it gets so bastardized by all of these fucking losers that have to show videos every day, like the news desk on Wednesday. Which,
At least
by the way, I was going to save the announcement till later, but the MHH news desk has been canceled. Done with it.
Really.
Done with it.
So this Wednesday is going to be the final show.
No, it's done. Never going to see it again.
You're not gonna give it a final send off. No grand hurrah.
No, I'm not. It's gonna be a edited show from here on out, but it's getting taken out of the live lineup.
Okay. Well, yeah, a new show probably would be a good excuse for an edited show over the live effect.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to play clips and do stuff, it should not be me yelling at the board or shit or sound levels not being right. I don't want. If I'm going to do a show like that, it should be good. So we haven't canceled the show. We've just taken it out of the live lineup, and we are going to go into a recorded lineup on weekends. But that's done. But that's I just wanted to say I'm done being the clip guy live.
Yeah, it's you gave it a college try, and sometimes it worked in your favor, but more often than not, it hasn't.
You can't do a clip show live. It's just
No.
you can't. It's just not right. So from here on out, marijuana happy hour 6 days a week, 2 stoned on Tuesdays. No, 5 days a week because we're over on Twitch on Mondays on Marco's channel. So, little programming note. I don't think too many people are going to be too broken up about the news desk being pulled.
I don't know. Maybe I bet you that there's that one person on Rumble who's who's like an actual dedicated fan of yours, is just like, no, that's my favorite thing I look forward to on Wednesday. Well, guess it's time to learn how to tie a noose again.
We'll still be live. We're just not gonna. I'm not gonna try to do a newscast
Right.
because it never turned into that.
No, it eventually just turned into the marijuana happy hour.
Yeah, there's no difference. And why am I confusing people with different names of shows? There should be 2 shows, and we'll be good with that. I'm not a network. All right, so we are live tonight as Too Stoned. Somebody sent me something that might be the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
You don't say.
The most ridiculous lie in the history of mankind.
That's awful damning of you to say.
Well, I've done research and I've checked and I really, really want to know: is marijuana dangerous?
Define dangerous.
To where you're going to OD and die? And the answer is no. Can you have a psychedelic episode? Yes. Can you have a psychedelic episode drinking alcohol? Yes. Can you have a psychedelic episode adding anything to the fire? Yes. What have you found? Have you done research? Have you looked around? Because, I myself care what goes into my body, and I wouldn't put shit in my body that I didn't think was safe.
Really, the only thing that I could find in true fashion, it was from Willie Nelson. I forget what show he was on, but the host brought up the point that you were saying, is that alcohol has killed, what was it? He said like 1,400 people every month.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, do you know how many people weed has killed in this year alone? 0. And then Willie Nelson chimes in. He says, well, that's not true, actually. I knew a guy who owns a weed farm, and one of his employees got crushed by a bale once. So that's one.
So I guess marijuana has killed somebody.
So technically, yeah, marijuana has killed one person.
Oh my God! Marijuana saved Willie Nelson's life. If Willie Nelson would have kept his Texas ways of being a good old boy, pounding that whiskey every night, he'd be in prison.
Pounding that whiskey every night and chain smoking like a motherfucker.
Boy, he said when he drank, it was all over.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens with a lot of country artists, is that they start drinking and then all of a sudden they just get depressed enough to where they can write music about it. But then Willie Nelson smoked weed, and then he became the smiling country outlaw, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I love that. Man, I wish I would have been involved in the 70s era. That I'm one of those guys that thinks it was cooler back then. But man, the 70s with the outlaw country guys, those guys were so fucking cool.
Yeah, those guys were beyond fucking crazy. One of my I'll see if I can find I'll find the shirt and I'll take a picture and send it to you. But George Jones, right?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, so obviously George Jones is infamous for having a drinking problem, or was. He's dead, but even amongst the country guys, he had a drinking problem, and it got to the point where it was so bad that he eventually got a DUI, and so many times that he had his license suspended for like years. So you would think that, okay, well, if you took away his driver's license, then it's going to stop him from going and getting alcohol, right? No. This motherfucker literally hopped on his riding lawnmower and drove it to the bar.
Oh God. And all of those guys are dead.
Except for Willie Nelson.
Except for the potheads. The potheads all made it through.
Yeah. Yeah, the only one that was left was him and Merle Haggard, but Merle Haggard died a few years ago. So
Look at fucking Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney, for Christ's sake. Those guys are 80-something years old and they're touring.
yeah,
You know
they're
what
still touring.
Those guys weren't big drinkers either. Paul just loved smoking weed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they also dabbled in psychedelics, I'm sure. But yeah, I think Paul has just continuously just been a weed guy. Ringo,
And he's...
I refuse to believe that Ringo is sober.
I hope not. I hope that's not a sober man.
Yeah, he's either high all the time or he is just really British. I can't really tell.
Yeah, I've never seen a guy with such a golden horseshoe up his ass in my entire life as that
For
guy.
For real. But to be honest, though, I kind of would be like that too because he has the best gig. He had the best gig in the fucking world, which was being the drummer of the Beatles when he was a fucking teenager.
He still gets $500,000 a show.
Yes.
And he goes up, he
solo
drums
career
one or
is
two.
shit.
It's horrible.
It's so bad.
Actually, it's pretty good. The Ringo band is great.
Okay,
But-
you're gonna have to give me some examples because from what I've heard of Ringo and his solo career, I am not impressed. Although it might be just because I'm not a huge Beatles fan to begin with, but even fucking, I hate to quote John Lennon because he's a fucking asshole, but even John Lennon said it himself when he was asked, is Ringo Starr the greatest drummer in the world? He said Ringo Starr isn't even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Yeah, that's right. Because Paul did most of the drums.
Yeah, Paul could actually play the drums like a motherfucker. He's real good.
Yeah, especially the new replacement Paul. He's even better.
Yeah, the clone Paul. After he died in that car accident, they busted him out of the hyperbolic fucking time chamber or whatever. They just fucking froze him, busted him out. I was like, guess what? He can play piano now. Sick.
It's just, I keep looking. What's the weed? Where's it? What's bad about it?
I think it's bad I think it's just if you treat it like any other substance, like alcohol, or even even heroin or shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like look at Lemmy. Lemmy was a motherfucker who lived to be like 71 or 72 or something like that, and that motherfucker did meth.
Yes. Meth and Jack Daniels.
Meth and Jack Daniels. But
Marlboro cigarettes.
right. But that's because, and he said it himself, it's like the reason why he did it is because he wanted to have fun and he wanted to have a good time. But if you do so much that you die, then how are you going to keep having fun if you're dead? He's like, he knows exactly. He's like, I'm not going to say that this shit is good for you, but if you're smart about it, then it's not going to kill you. And weed is very much the same way. It's like, well, yeah, if you just spend all day smoking weed, then yeah, it's a bad thing because you're not doing anything. You're just smoking weed. But if you treat it like it's like I do, where, I just come home from work, I take a few puffs off my pen, and then it's like, all right, feel it kicking in. All right, let's go do some laundry. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Not so high that I just want to stare at the fucking stars or like stare at the ceiling or something and just be like, whoa, I can feel every molecule in my skin right now. It's like, no, I just want to just feel lighter, and then I can just move on with my day.
See, here's the argument I bring up too to all these people that say, well, Johnny, you're a chronic weed smoker. You do it too much. And I'm like, okay. Well, what about the guy that takes the Paxil every day, twice a day? Or what about the guys that are taking the mood stabilizers every day, twice a day? Does that mean that are prescribed by doctors? Does that mean they're out of control? No, they're medicating themselves with the proper medication. Why am I a pothead, a loser, scumbag? Because I want to get high twice a day. You know what I mean? There's no difference in taking a prescribed regular medication. It does the same things that the marijuana does to me.
I think that's why they tried to put actual doctors in those weed dispensaries for medical purposes, so that they could go like, no, there's a doctor in here. See, it's medical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't consider myself a drug addict or a chronic marijuana user. I'm just a guy medicating himself. Silly every night.
Yeah, it's and also I've always been in the camp of like if you're not really hurting yourself or others, then do whatever the fuck you want. If all you're doing when you're smoking weed is that you're killing your brain cells and you're hurting your lungs, well, guess what? If you live in fucking New York, you do that by taking a big breath anyway.
Yeah, every time you pump gas, you're hurting your lungs. So
Exactly.
fuck off. I mean, smoking's went down 80%, lung cancers went up 400%. So, do the math, people. It
I
wasn't
think
the
that
smokes
might.
all along getting us.
I think it might be the e-cigs responsible for that, but that's just my theory.
Oh, you say I've told this story 14 times on here, but I went to a doctor after I coughed my lungs out one day, and he's like, "What'd you do?" I says, "Well, I was smoking this marijuana vape, and it got me." And he's like, "I'd rather just smoking regular. And if you're gonna smoke regular cigarettes. They're way better for you." I'm like, "You're a doctor." He goes, "Dude, you have no idea what's." I'm seeing 18, 19-year-old kids coming in with cauliflower lungs.
Popcorn lung, yeah, that shit's real.
Popcorn. I don't want cauliflower lungs like their ears.
Yeah. It starts in their lungs, and then once it hits their ears, it's fatal.
It's all over. Yeah, but you're a vapor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do it, but you'd be better off getting pre-rolls. But I know your situation. It's just it's better for your lifestyle to have a vape than it is going old school.
Right, and I have nothing against going old school. If someone offers me a bowl of flour, hell yeah, I'll fucking take that. Just the same thing as someone offered me a dab. You know what I mean? It's like weed's weed. It's just dab pens and dab carts. It's the frozen TV dinner of weed for a reason. It's just convenient as fuck, and it doesn't stink. That's what I like about it. And then also I can control myself. I can control my high a lot better, as opposed to if I have a bowl of flour and I smoke half of it. And I'm just like, all right, I can feel it kicking in, but I still got half of this bowl. I kind of don't want to just leave it in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to clear the bowl for the next. I want to not green hit. I might as well just cash this out here.
Yeah, but mainly it's the stink. The stink is what does it for me. It's normally, yeah, I don't mind the smell of it because I smoke it. So obviously I don't mind the smell of it. But I have clothes that are nice. You know what I mean? Like I don't need those clothes to fucking stink.
Yeah, it's smelling like weed is not a good social. It's not good to be out in public smelling of weed like weed, because everybody behind your back like that guy smells like weed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
And
always somebody that's going to call you out for it, and you got to worry about if someone's going to snitch on you.
now these anti-weed people, that they're just as bad. Oh, the smell! Oh, I can't handle this. It smells like a skunk. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
but it's
smell like rotten ass, and you're bitching about the smell of weed. Go take a shower, fatso.
yeah, but I think it's just if you don't partake, then yeah, it probably does smell terrible. Like I remember my tattoo artist telling me at one point that there was at one point where he tried to quit smoking cigarettes, and he said that there was at one point where I think he said he quit smoking for like 2 years. And he said one thing that I kept on hearing from people all the time is like, "Oh, well, when you quit smoking cigarettes, you're once you smell a cigarette again, you won't smoke anymore because you'll realize how bad that shit smells." And he said, "I don't know what the fuck they were talking about because every time I smelled a cigarette, it smelled like a steak dinner."
oh, I know. Nothing better than to party because it just reminds you of partying. It reminds you of the good times, the smells.
Yeah, it reminds you of the night before and the night before that.
And every other night that we go and have fun.
Yeah, it smells like Tuesday.
So, I keep talking, and I'm going to bring up something too about drinking,
Okay.
which I didn't notice I was doing. Uh, I decided a couple weeks ago to go to WrestleMania and get all shit faced on Jack Daniels, and how it affected my life badly, so badly, and just for coming back to drinking for 2 days, how much worse my life got is ridiculous.
Just after you went back to the old what was it? What's that old saying? The hair of the dog that bit you. Like after you just went back to your old ways.
Yeah, I was like, why did the feed just stopped? Okay, it's back. Okay, never mind.
Okay, good.
Let's see, do we have no pause tonight? That's weird. We had them last night for a little bit.
Oh, Dalish is streaming. She's playing
Oh,
Resident Evil 5.
damn it! We gotta tell her to stay off of our time frame. Never mind.
She has more subscribers than us. We have to listen to her. That's how the
God
rules go.
damn it! Can't compete with her. I don't got. I don't look. We ain't got nothing that she can offer over here.
No, that's why we don't have face cam. We have nothing to offer.
So the one thing I wanted to bring up though is apparently marijuana kills children.
Now that I'm willing to believe.
Kills them. According
Now,
to a governor here. Let me play the clip here real quick.
legalize marijuana. You're going to kill your kids, Ricketts said. To back his ridiculous claim, Ricketts cited the federal government's placement of marijuana in Schedule 1 under the... Oh, there, it disappeared on me.
It disappeared. He says that there's no such thing as medical marijuana, that it's a lie, because you don't get medical marijuana at Walgreens. You go to the dispensary. The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Do you know what else you can get at Walgreens? Booze.
You know what else you can get at Walgreens? Oxycontin.
Yeah.
Percocets. Those are cool, though. What about this new pain reliever? It has no side effects. No, fuck that. Make it illegal. It's going to kill your kids. He said today, it's going to kill your kids. The kids are going to smoke marijuana and drop dead. That's what he's telling the people of Nebraska today.
Well, if it's Nebraska, then that means that it'd probably work.
I don't know who this guy is. I guess he's the governor. Is he the mayor? I don't know. Oh, there it is. Governor. He's the governor of a state. Isn't it dangerous to lie like that?
What do you mean? Lying's the name of the game when it comes to politics.
Drugs with no currency have no involvement in any medical treatment whatsoever.
What do you mean no currency? It's paid in cold hard cash.
Yeah, what about people with seizures? What about, I don't want to get into it. We know that, right? Everybody that listens to this show knows what marijuana does, right?
Yeah,
medically.
Yeah, and really, if there's anything that I would say personally that I have seen of marijuana actually being considered a medical use and a miracle drug, is look up anybody with Parkinson's or Michael J. Fox and what marijuana has done for him. You know what I mean? Every single time I have seen people with Parkinson's do an edible where they take a dab that's like the size of a pea, and then they rub it into their gums or they rub it in their tongue or something. Within a half hour, they're walking around and cooking and shit like it's normal. That's a miracle.
Yeah, number one cure for PTSD. I guess we want drunken PTSD military vets running around the Midwest armed. That's what they want.
Yeah, if only there was a series of Sylvester Stallone movies that showed why that was a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe we should pitch that Sylvester Stallone, see if he's into that. I love the new Sylvester Stallone. He runs a weed shop
Does
in
he?
his new show. What's it called? Tulsa King.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he runs a weed shop. So the governor of Nebraska literally said that weed kills children.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, you've admitted to smoking weed as a child.
yes,
Did
I'm
it
talking
kill
to you
you?
now.
I'm just confirming. Did it kill you?
No, it did not.
Okay. Okay.
Scientific
I'm just making sure.
research.
Yeah. So according to my data here, and by my data I mean my test subject of 1.
20
Marijuana
years
does for 20
every day.
years.
Every day for
Every
20
day.
years.
This man has
Huh.
literally smoked marijuana ever since he was a kid, and it has not killed him. He has been nearly killed by his own stupidity more times than marijuana has. If marijuana played a factor in those, that's up for debate.
uh, and then, drinking really fucked me up. Just like the broadcasts were not good. My communication skills weren't good. My everything in my all the drunken texts I sent out to these women are coming back to haunt me. There's nothing good came out of drinking Jack Daniels at all. Has it ever? Is the question.
No, I can't think of any good story that starts with a bottle of Jack. Every single story I've ever heard that starts with a bottle of Jack ends horribly.
It does. And nothing really bad happened. It's just, Monday comes around. I have a responsibility to broadcast, and I'm falling asleep on the air.
Right.
Tuesday I'm so hungover I can't even think straight. Trying to do a show. It took a week to recover. Now, I did go to ACDC. This is the segue into the ACDC.
Oh yeah, you did talk about it a little bit, but yeah, you went and saw AC/DC at the stadium.
Yeah, I'm gonna play just a clip. No music. Just a
Okay.
quick, just to kind of show you where I was at and kind of get the where is it? Oh boy, did I lose my own? You know what? I'm not saying anything bad about this goddamn thing again because I went over to the StreamYard and oh my god, what a nightmare that was.
Really, they fucked it up?
The sound is so bad.
Damn.
All right, so yeah, here let me play a little quick clip here for you. Not too long. I don't want to get. Okay, stop it. So just kind of a quick preview, so we don't want to get the YouTube Gestapo against us, but
Right. But yeah, you were pretty close. You were on the ground.
yeah, I looked a lot closer when I bought the tickets. But that stadium is huge.
Yeah, I would. Well, yeah, it's Vegas. Of course, the stadium's huge. Now, I have one question to ask you though. So you did say that the tickets to WrestleMania were $7,000. Now, granted, that was a
Yes.
multiple day event,
Yes.
but still, $7,000.
Yes, that was stupid.
Okay.
Just stupid. And to a
So-
point where I'm so mad at the WWE for what they did to everybody that weekend. I'll never watch it.
Damn.
They just, and this ACDC concert too, $18 for a fucking beer. Come on.
Ugh. Well, that's not
Enough is
AC/DC's
enough.
fault.
The cool thing was the devil ears were only $20, and I thought that was cool because they could have charged $100 and everybody would have paid it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
But
how much? But how much were the tickets for that spot?
it was $600.
Ooh. I mean, that's better than 7,000, but 600, was it just AC/DC?
No, Pretty Reckless opened up, and I'm going to tell you what. You turned me on to her a long time ago, but every middle-aged guy in that arena went home and jerked off that night to Taylor Monson.
Oh,
She
yeah.
is the drop dead gorgeous. Just like when you like, if you were gonna like build a female heavy metal singer and on a computer,
Yes.
she would be the chick.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, her and Lizzie Hale, both of them are just like smoking hot metal chicks, but they can also just scream their fucking heads off. And yeah, it's a fucking great time. And yeah, I am. If you saw Pretty Reckless, then yeah, I'm jealous of you for that one. I'm sure it was a fucking great show.
Yeah, the cool thing I thought about with the Pretty Reckless is she dresses the band. They all have black hair, all black everything, black instruments. Everything is blacked out, and all you see is her, and that's all you want to watch, anyways.
Oh
The
yeah,
band,
it's obviously about her.
her band, when they do close up shots, those guys are old. I think they're like maybe in their 50s,
Well, Pretty
but
Reckless
they
has been around for a while.
but they are. Oh my god, it's one of the best like live bands I've seen in a long. They are a great band.
Yeah, they are. They're super good. It's not a band that I bring up all the time, but yeah, Pretty Reckless is actually really fucking good. And one of my favorite things about Pretty Reckless is the woman lead singer. Uh, if you saw the Jim Carrey the Grinch That Stole Christmas, the live action one, uh, she was the little girl who played Cindy Lou Who in that.
Yeah, that is so cool.
I know, it's so bizarre. It trips me out every time I see that movie and she pops up, and I'm just like, "Holy fuck, that's her!" It trips me out every time. It's just like, "God damn, that is so wild."
And the weird thing is I don't know how or subliminally I knew 80% of their set list, and I don't even remember listening to them other than the one song we have on the playlist. But I was great.
I
She was
mean,
great.
I mean, they've been in like movies and TV shows. They had a pretty long stint on the radio on metal and rock radio stations for a long time.
Yeah, so it's one of those bands, modern rock bands I've heard 1,000 times and just don't give a shit because they all kind of sound the same. But man,
Right, but
what a band!
yeah, it was kind of the same thing with me. Is that I always got Hailstorm and Pretty Reckless confused because they both sound very similar. But yeah, Pretty Reckless is fucking great.
Just it was a great band, and ACDC is ACDC. It's been the same fucking show.
Well, yeah, they've been doing this for fucking 50 years.
I've been to 37 ACDC concerts.
37.
Yeah, it was a thing when we were in high school and in my 20s. We'd go see 4 or 5 shows on their tours. Back in the day, we have summer off. ACDC is going on tour. We got money. Let's go.
So you would just follow them on tour for the next 5 cities or something?
Yeah, we did like the Grateful Dead thing, but with ACDC back in the day. Because it was a
Okay,
great time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
there used to be a lot more chicks back in the day. Now it's a bunch of old bikers, whores, but
Right. Well,
it's not the party it used to be. Let's put it that way. It's more of a family reunion picnic vibe there than a rock and roll show because everybody loves ACDC.
yeah. Well, everybody except my brother. My brother's the one person I know that does not like AC/DC.
Yeah, well, he's just been exposed to the wrong ACDC. He doesn't get it.
I think it just bores him, or maybe he just doesn't like the singer. I don't know. Next time we have him on here, maybe me and you will tag team him and just beat the shit out of him and just be like, "What the fuck did you say about AC/DC?"
Yeah, I remember I was talking to a chick one time, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I just don't like AC/DC." And I says, "Okay, well, I'm not going to date you then. Goodbye." Click.
Damn.
I made love to a woman every day, every Saturday for 5 years. And I played AC/DC Flick of the Switch every time.
Jesus.
I don't know what the fuck I was doing. What's wrong with me? That poor lady, I don't know what I did to her. I don't even want to talk to her anymore.
So it's that one and Susudio.
Susudio. That was my Susudio. Oh my God, I really am a psychopath. But, we got other times.
Yeah, you are the American Psycho if you found weed instead of prescription pills.
A couple last things about the AC/DC thing. We'll move on. We're almost. We got a little bit of time left.
Yeah, we got time.
The guitars. Okay, the Stevie. I think his name's Stevie Young.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, he was hooked up to some Marshalls. With there was no distortion. It was just clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him 1,000 times, and it sounded like 1971 AC/DC up there, and I'm like, can somebody get this guy a metal zone or something? For fuck's sake, it sounds like shit. Can you put the gain up to at least 3?
That's just what he does, man. You can't tell him no. He's been doing it for 50 years.
Well, this is the cousin that replaced the dead Angus Young brother, the rhythm guitar player.
Still.
Stevie Young, the cousin. But then, Angus comes out, and he's got full distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is that the secret sauce to the band that I never recognized before since I started playing guitar now? Maybe I never recognized it before. Has it always been like that?
Tone definitely plays a role in how you play. And tone chasing is very difficult, especially if you have no idea what to do or how to do it. But
yeah,
for the most part, if you're doing live performances, then yeah. But for the most part, amplifiers nowadays have pretty decent presets to where you can just twist a knob or push a button and just be like, yeah, that's good enough. That sounds like Slayer.
And so yeah, the guitars were way too clean, and it's the same show after every song. The lights go out. They huddle up. I don't know what they're doing.
They're
like
posing
3 to 4.
They're posing for the picture.
You're sitting there for 3 to 4 minutes, and then they'll play a song. It'll go dark. They huddle up. 3, 4 more minutes. And then, here comes the bell. Dong. It's Hell's Bells time, and then the cannons come out, and then it's the confetti drop, and then it's over. And it's like, it's the same show I saw when I was 14 years old. It's the same fucking show.
But you still went.
I love it. There's something about an AC/DC concert. Not one person. I mean, that place was filled. There wasn't one place to stand in there. It was so full.
Yeah, it was packed.
Not one person out of the 70,000 people left that fucking place with a frown on their face. I've never seen a group of happier people in my life. It was like more people came out of that concert that would ever come out of a church in that mood. It's like, that should be our new religion is AC/DC. You get a feeling I can't explain. It just makes you feel good about people. How you can all hang out and listen to one thing and everybody loves it. It's weird.
Yeah, that music brings people together in weird ways. You start rubbing shoulders with people that you never knew and that you never thought you'd ever meet or talk to. But you can communicate and you can bond over this one thing.
Who's the band now that's going to be playing? I think we talked about this last night in 2070. That's around right now. You know?
Yeah.
Fucking AC/DC's been doing it for 50 fucking years.
And they're still fucking touring. They're gonna do it to the day they fucking die. They're gonna wheel them out in goddamn wheelchairs if they have to.
AC/DC started playing when my mom was 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I find that crazy. And do you got any friends that look old now?
Oh yeah, I can definitely see age in some of my friends and me. I can see age hitting me. It's starting to hit me.
So the funny thing is all your all the guys that turn old in their 20s,
Hmm.
that's their look.
Yep.
They're going to look like that in their coffin when they're 90 years old. Brian Johnson looked like shit when he was 20 years old in those ACDC videos in the 80s
Oh yeah.
with that terrible poofy hair and the stupid jean jacket.
The newsboy with a fucking hat.
Yeah, so this 80-something-year-old man, he looks exactly the same. He's got the same hat, same jacket. I mean, why don't we just do the same fucking show every night from here on out?
Because it works.
My God, how does it work?
Why would the
It's
Cardinals
wild.
change their act if the Rubes keep paying for it?
It unbelievable experience. And they didn't play one song off a flick of the switch. I was really bummed.
Of course they're gonna play nothing but the hits. You know they're gonna play nothing but the hits.
And I love when I have people over to my house and you guys want to hear some ACDC? And they're like, fuck yeah, we do. And I put on flick of the switch and they're like, what is this? Never heard this before. Like, it's the best ACDC record that no one's ever heard. Oh, boy. No, ACDC, highly recommend. It was a great time. And I just had a couple of beers and didn't get shit-faced and just had a good time. Dropped a couple of edibles.
Yeah, and you should definitely go see ACDC while you can, because I can't imagine they'll be doing this for much longer. Because, like you said, 50 years of nothing but touring. They're not going to be doing this for much longer.
And that last album they put out, I think was great. I don't find nothing wrong with it at all. It doesn't suck.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you a single song that was on the album. I listened to it when it came out, but I remember thinking like, yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. Maybe I'll have to revisit it. My opinion might change.
Yeah, and just for everybody's information, it's kind of a remake of Flick of the Switch. A lot of Flick of the Switch riffs in there, but I'm crazy about
Hmm.
AC/DC in a weird way that no one else is.
There are people that are like that about ACDC, though. I bump into some people just because I walk around with an ACDC t-shirt and just some random old dude who just fucking just chat me up and just talk about ACDC for like hours on end. You know what I mean?
I mean, AC/DC's been the soundtrack to every party, every heavy metal party ever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just like I hate. The songs I went to the bathroom at were "You Shook Me All Night Long," "Back in Black." I don't want to hear those songs anymore. I really don't. I hate that part of AC/DC. I hate.
The part that everybody loves that's on the radio every day on like 5 different radio stations.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Sin City's cool. That's kind of a deep cut you don't hear on the radio all the time, and it's Vegas, and it was just perfect.
Right. You got to play Sin City in Vegas.
But yeah, I mean, as far as concert goes, it's like I said. Every time I go, I know what to expect. They give me exactly what I want. It's like ordering. It's ordering a McDonald's hamburger. You know what it's going to taste like. It's tasted the same for 50 years. And you're going to get what you get, and you're going to leave happy.
Yeah. Yeah, ACDC is definitely on my bucket list for sure, but I don't know. 600, well, it is Vegas, so it might be a little bit cheaper over here, but still, 600 for Pretty Reckless and ACDC. I don't know.
Yeah,
It might be worth it just for Pretty Reckless on top of that.
yeah. The original ticket price was only $247, but I had to buy it on a secondary market, so that's why it was 600.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that
So
makes
I
a little
mean,
more sense.
Pasadena, where they played Pasadena, they had tickets for as low as like $48. So yeah, it is definitely Vegas is more expensive. I think there's only a handful of shows left, though. Maybe 2 or 3 more shows.
Well, chances are they're going to be on tour again next year.
Yeah, I think the closest they came to you was Vancouver.
Yeah, of course they go to fucking Canada, but they just miss me.
Oh, Canada's just laughing at us.
Fuck them.
Fucking, Canada uh, has had legal marijuana now for 5 years.
Has it been 5 years? I could have sworn it was longer than that.
Fully, I mean, it was medical, and then it turned completely legal. Like Providences were legalizing, but I think a complete 100% legal across the board. 5 years, maybe it's longer. You're the smart one of the group, so who knows?
Yeah, I could have sworn they did that in like 2016 or something like that, but I might be wrong.
Maybe it was 26. So it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And the reporting prescriptions have gone down 60%. Alcohol sales have went down 30%. Drunk driving arrests went down 70%. I mean, the list just keeps going and going. But we got one guy saying it's going to kill your kids. So who knows?
Also, a little fun note here. Apparently, the sales of maple syrup are at an all-time high.
Scared of the tariffs.
Yeah. Random tangent, I know, but there's a thing that Canadians have where it's basically just hot, and I mean do hot, like hot maple syrup that you just put on snow, and then you just put your stick, you just put a stick into the hot syrup, and you just roll it around in the snow, and then you just wait for the fucking sap to cool off, and you lick it off.
Okay.
Again, it's like that's sure. Why not? I guess
Well,
you could just be eating snow, but okay.
you could just go to the store for 15 cents and get a maple bit of honey.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're in Canada and you have a maple tree fucking everywhere, then I guess it makes sense. Sure, but I don't know. Canadians are weird. Just
Yeah.
it's very bizarre, especially for being in the Pacific Northwest, because I've bumped into Canadians before, like Canadian tourists and stuff, and it's just so bizarre. Where I'm just like, there's this imaginary line where if I just drove north for like, you know, half a day, you know what I mean? If I drove north for half a day, I would eventually hit Canada and I would hit a city, and within half a day, I would just bump into somebody that maybe knows French, and they're speaking and they're talking about things that I don't care about, and they actually give a shit about the politics of my country and the world, and it's just this thing of like, do you have any fucking idea how weird, like just how weird this situation is, where literally just a hop and a skip away across a fucking lake or an ocean or whatever, and then all of a sudden I'm just surrounded by people that look like me, but all they do is they talk in these weird mannerisms and they have these weird sayings, and again, some of them speak French. Like
It's just weird. The Canadians are weird. And, one thing, if you live just like over that imaginary line, you'd be getting a check right now for $2,500 a month to create music from the
right?
government.
Yeah.
They have an artist
Although,
fund.
yeah. Although I
They
imagine that
fund
you would
their
have to,
artists.
but I imagine you'd have to keep pumping out music for them. You can't just take the check and just do nothing.
No, you do have to do community gigs, a certain number of community gigs at like old folks' homes and, like that to make the money.
Sure, that makes
But,
sense.
good exchange. I mean, everybody wins in that situation.
Yeah, and you're having the musicians actually fill a role. It's a very small role, but it's one that works. You're giving them I don't know if 2,500 a month is a living situation in Canada, but it sounds good to me. Just
No,
$2,500 a month to just go play to a bunch of sick kids and old people. Yeah,
yeah, and you get paid for the gigs on top of it. On
Yeah, that
top
sounds
of
like
your monthly stipend that you get.
yeah,
That's just guaranteed.
that sounds like a good fucking plan to me.
And that's why so many great artists have come out of Canada, because they were actually paid to become artists.
Hmm.
You
That
know,
isn't-
guys like Norm Macdonald. I mean, every great comedian from Canada. Drew, Jim Carrey, Nickelback, greatest rock band ever, Canada.
The greatest.
But
I've seen AC/DC 34 times, but that Nickelback, let me tell you,
I've seen Nickelback about 8 times.
how in the fuck have you seen Nickelback 8 times?
I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the code. Nickelback, people that go see Nickelback are 30 to 50-year-old horny white women.
Yeah.
I like to be in a building with 10,000 30 to 50-year-old horny white women and none of the cool like rock guys hanging out, because Nickelback sucks.
Okay. You're making I can see your logic now.
See, I don't go to New Kids on the Block because I'm a fan of New Kids on the Block. I just know every woman coming out of New Kids on the Block is horny and wants to get laid.
I got you. Okay.
Sometimes it's not about. I go to a lot of concerts where it's not about the music; it's about the scene.
Right.
I've always been more about the scene than the music. I don't care if a band's perfect. I just want the scene. I want to have, as long as people are having fun.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm here for the music.
Mm-hmm. You're a musician.
Right.
And the more I learn guitar, the more and more music I'm watching is starting to not be so fun anymore to listen to, because I'm finding the tricks.
Yes, that is the one downfall of being a musician, and music theory especially, is songs that you normally liked and you found interesting, like once you learn how to play an instrument or you understand music theory, you realize how stupid some of the songs that you like are. But there's nothing inherently wrong with liking a song that's stupid if that's the point of it being art. You know what I mean? If it makes you feel something, then good. It did its job as an art piece. It's a song. But it does kind of ruin a lot of conversation. I've had a lot of conversations with people where they try to show me something where it's like, hey, there's this group or there's this artist that I really want to like. You want to hear it? Like, yeah, sure. And I listen to it, and then within a minute of me listening to the song, my brain just flatlines. And I'm just like, I would literally rather do anything than listen to this right now. I do not like this at all. And they're like, really? And like, yeah, I don't like this at all. Is like, why? And he's like, well, since you asked, the production is the only good thing I have to say about it. The lyrics are terrible. The singing is auto-tuned, so that doesn't fucking count. It sounds like every other pop song that's been on the radio for the past 15 years. I couldn't tell you who the fuck that bitch singing is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I love somebody took the Travis Scott auto-tune off
Uh-huh.
and put it online, and oh my god, that guy's not singing anything.
No. The only person that I have ever seen that could like legitimately sing that uses autotune, weirdly enough, is T-Pain. That motherfucker can actually sing. I've heard him sing his songs without autotune, and he fucking nails that shit.
He fucking won the Masked Singer for a season.
You actually watch that shit?
I watched the first season. I'm gonna admit it. I was hooked the first season.
I was like you. I watched the first season because I was just like, okay, it's a weird idea, but I kind of like it. But then halfway through the season, I was just like, yeah, this show's gay.
Yeah, it's. I already figured out who it's. I know it's Wilson fucking Phillips. I can hear their voices.
Yeah, whoever's in charge of the voice editing is not doing a good job.
But yeah, T-Pain did that whole thing, and then at the end they pull. I thought it was going to be like Johnny Gill or something. You know what I mean? Some like like killer, like guy that could used to sing from the 80s. But I'm like, that was fucking T-Pain this whole time.
Yeah, that dude can actually sing. It's crazy.
He just used it for an enhancement to the music. He didn't use it as a crutch like everybody else uses now.
Right. He just used it because he thought it sounded cool, which I can respect.
You know, like not to bring AC/DC up one more time, but Brian Johnson did a 22 song set, 80 years old. Was he perfect? No.
But he's also
Does
80
he have
years
to
old.
be? Does he have to be? No. Them old guys, they start losing breath early. They don't have their breath like they used to.
No.
And it
No,
fucks
that
the
dude,
timing up.
yeah, that dude can't be screaming his head off like he did when he was in his fucking 20s or 30s.
But is he at a point where, like Don Dokken, where it's embarrassing? No, not even close. I mean, he pulled it off.
Right. Yeah, he can at least make
And
a valiant attempt.
they came out with the 5 guys. You could hear the 5 different instruments playing. There was no keyboard player under the stage. There was no backing tracks. There was no click track during the show. There was
I
no
have yet.
video
I have,
boards synced up to the light show. It was an old school light show, which I loved. I hate these video boards. I'm sick of them.
yeah. Oh, if you want to see a fucking fantastic light show, I don't know if you'll like the music, but are you familiar with a group called Meshuggah?
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Here's the thing about Meshuggah, though, is
That
it took
fucking
me a
band.
long. Yeah. I understand if you don't like Meshuggah, but I do encourage you to at least look up a couple of live performances that they have done, because the guy who is in charge of their like light show and their pyrotechnics, he gets the same amount of a cut as the rest of the band. Like, he is credited as being just as much of a member of the band as the band itself, because you can see how much effort this dude put into synchronizing the lights and the pyrotechnics with the music, and it is fucking insane. And of course it's Meshuggah playing, so it's just nothing but chaos the whole time.
So if people don't know who Meshuggah is, just imagine an alien spaceship went and got, what is it, 5 guys in that band or 6?
I think 5.
5. So they went around and find the five smartest human beings on the planet, like geniuses, like Einsteins, and formed a group of the 5 smartest men to ever exist on this planet, and said, "We know you could probably cure cancer, probably could save the world, but what you need to do is you need to be the most brutalist metal band ever created in the history of music." And there's not one band that can even come close to copying what they do.
No, it is like you said. It's like if you gathered 5 of the smartest people that aliens could have found, and just, we need you to make nerds cool.
It is. It's a mind fuck how good that band is.
It is, and but it is one of those bands where I'm like, I don't know if I could tell you a single. Like, it's one of those groups where when I listen to a Meshuggah album front to back, I'm just like, well, that's certainly a thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, that definitely was cool, but it's not something that I could listen to every day just trying to go get a pack of smokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a. You got to be in the right mood. I mean, it's not easy listening, but I'm very excited. Pause checked in just for a little bit. He's going back to the other stream, but he says hi, and pause. We finally cracked the code, and I can finally put your comments up on the screen. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, this is different. This is different from the old one. I kind of like this one, actually.
So I like. I kind of like. The Rumble Studio is really doing really good.
It's almost like the problem is you and not the studio.
Well, yeah, I probably should smoke this much marijuana or take this many edibles before the show, right?
Well, if you didn't do that, then what would be the point of the show?
Exactly. You know, that's what I keep telling people. You know?
You know,
No.
some people think that we're too dumb to be doing a show. Maybe we're just too smart.
We really are. We do approach some subjects that don't get a. I've been listening to a lot of weed shows, and I don't like them.
Yeah, me neither. I've tried.
There's a bunch of other duo. You know what we should do is we should invite them on our show. You know what should be. We should change the way we think about doing this. I should change the way. You're a good guy. You've always been a good guy.
I try.
A guy told me a long time ago. He goes, when competition rolls in, or you have somebody, you go over and shake their hand. Let them know that you're seen. Send them a smile, shake their hand, and say, "Hey, glad you're in our universe." Oh my God! Yeah, there we go. Look at that on the big screen. Our third mic finally has been seen on the third screen, and he's not even here to see it. Poor guy.
He'll be here next. He'll be here to see it next week, though, if he doesn't jump back in.
And I was so excited. I'm like, finally, pause. We'll see pause finally tonight. We finally got the best. We can finally show our third mic finally what he's saying. I'm not crazy, just saying weird shit for no reason.
I mean, you do that anyway, but it does make a little bit more sense if you can actually see what we're reading.
Yeah, and we learned tonight that marijuana kills children. So,
just Nebraskan children, apparently.
Yeah, because they don't work hard. They don't work as hard. They can't pick as much corn.
Well, yeah. You can't let them drink. You can't let them smoke. What are you supposed to do in Nebraska when you're a kid?
I don't know. I don't know what people do.
No wonder they made the Wizard of Oz take place in Nebraska. No wonder she disappeared in a tornado and fucked off to Oz. Yeah, I probably would do the same goddamn thing. There ain't shit in Nebraska.
No, I think that's where the movie Children of the Corn. Malachi.
Was that Nebraska?
I think so, wasn't it? Or was that Kansas?
I don't know, man. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Oh, I know what else was from Nebraska. Jeepers Creepers.
Yep. Yeah, that was Nebraska.
They fucking busted Saul Goodman in Nebraska.
Yeah, I still need to catch up on that.
Oh, sorry.
I don't care about spoilers.
Oh, Carol Burnett was fucking fantastic in the last episode.
I've seen some scenes from that show, and yeah, she's, I mean, one, fucking beautiful, but also phenomenal actress. Beside,
Yeah, I'm really at that point where I just love these old actresses that are just they're like the last breed of real actresses that could act.
Right. Yeah.
Because Zooey Deschanel ain't really cutting it for me in the acting world. You know what I mean?
Refresh me. Who was that?
I have no clue. I just pulled a kid's name out.
Oh, okay. Some modern actor.
Yeah, so Selena Gomez or what? All of these young chicks that are just terrible actresses.
Yeah, but I mean that's always been the case with ever since cinema became a thing. Is that there were female actors that were actually great actors and did their job well, but there were female actors who were blatantly hired for their looks and nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brad Pitt's not a great actor.
No, I know Brad Pitt is definitely not on my list of favorite actors. No, but he definitely fits the bill of Hollywood pretty boy for sure.
Yeah, my favorite actor right now is what's that guy's name? The guy that played Richard Jewell, something Hauser, something Wilmer. I don't even know. He played the Olympic bomber. He was in Cobra Kai. He was.
Fuck.
He's like a fat guy with a beard. He's an ugly fat guy with a beard, but he's just such a great actor. He's in that new movie about Password or whatever. Thomas Douglas Hauser or something like that.
That sounds right. Yeah, I don't remember that dude's name, but yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I think
he's kind of like the modern day Marlon Brando, can play any ugly guy.
yeah, it's one of those things that always blew my mind whenever there's like a movie or a TV show that has an ugly character where like it's centered around like, oh, this character is ugly and that's the point of the plot. And I kind of just sit there and think like they had to have read the script, right? Like they had to have signed on going like, okay, I'm going into this knowing that I'm going to be the ugly one. You know what I mean? It's like I have to make a conscious decision to go like I know that I'm ugly and I'm going to go and do this. And sure enough, yeah, that's how the interview process goes. Is literally just dozens of people just lining up going like, "Yep, I'm the ugly one."
Yeah, I mean, the best example has to be Shallow Hal. They cast you
Yeah.
for this movie and they just make fun of you the whole time because you're fat, you're breaking chairs.
Yeah, but she was in a fat suit.
Oh, it's great. That's still when you watch that now, it's so much funnier.
Yeah, weirdly enough, that movie was weirdly ahead of its time. We didn't even realize it.
You don't know how pussified we become when you watch a movie like that, and you're like, "Oh my god, they said that." And I'm like, "What is wrong with me? Why am I saying that myself now? I'm so programmed
Yeah, you're
to be
censoring
offended."
yourself. I know that you're not a fan of reading, but you really should read the book 1984, my friend.
I've seen the movie.
The movie sucks.
They Live.
They Live is kind of like that.
Yeah, with Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
Everything that they predicted has come true, except for the flying cars.
yeah, and the whole Martian alien thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've called it before, but you can see humans turning into dogs now. It's all over the internet.
And I'm pretty sure that's AI generated
Are you sure though?
because it's either AI generated or you're talking about those fucking skinwalker videos that I've seen people post.
I mean, what is the best way to, take over the world? Is make people not believe anything.
Actually, I had this conversation with my dad before, where he said the best, like if I had, like evil villain superpowers, or if I was like Lex Luthor and I had all the money in the world, you know what I mean? Like, how would you take over the world? And my dad told me, he's like, I would have the ability to control bees. And I did the same thing. I laughed at him. I was like, "You're going to be a fucking bee supervillain." And he said, "Yes." I was like, "Why bees?" And he said, "Because if I am the one who controls every bee on the planet, then I'm the one who controls the food.
Oh, oh,
So if I'm in control of what food gets pollinated and when, I can just tell the bees, like, yeah, I know that you normally do this throughout the entire planet, but this country told me to go fuck myself, so guess what? You're gonna starve this year."
your dad's evil.
Yeah.
Like that's just pure madman thinking.
I come from a long history of, what's the, let's say, eccentric people that have done very
Well,
questionable
yeah,
things in life.
goddamn silver thieves.
Yeah, it's literally in my blood from the origins of this country. Uh,
Fucking a bunch of fucking criminals over that
yeah,
patch of the woods.
yeah. I Yeah, actually,
And let's
if you don't mind me weaving back into that, there is one more thing I found about those outlaws that I thought was funny. Um, so I guess they were more infamously known for being horse thieves, and they would steal horses from people and sell them to British soldiers, and then steal those horses and then sell them back. and 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 so they became so they became known as like these expert horse thieves. And so in their hometown there was this old man who was just drinking and talking shit, and he dared any one of them to go and steal his horse. And word eventually got around to one of them, and so he figured out where the dude lived, and he went and stole his horse. And then the next morning, he knocked on the door, and the and the guy opened the door, and he handed him the reins to his horse and walked away. So then, the next year, the old man did the same thing. He was drinking and talking shit, and he said, like, they're not going to steal my horse this time. I've improved my defenses. I've got a gun. I've got a dog. I've got all of this stuff. And this went on every year for like 5 years, where this guy would literally just steal this old man's horse and bring it back to him just to prove a point. And then eventually the old man shut up and he never said anything again. Like
I love spite.
it
Spite
was
keeps
just
the world around.
yeah, it was purely out of spite. There was no money to be had. It was just because this motherfucker dare say that I can't steal your horse. Do you have any idea how many horses I've stolen? Like
I consider that a challenge, asshole.
exactly. They would do shit like that all the time just because they considered it a challenge. Like there was one that I saw where there was a rumor about them where they said that they could jump 20 feet in the air, and that was purely just because one of them got challenged to a jumping contest by a bunch of drunks, and they won the contest easily. Like they jumped like really fucking high, and just because of that, it sparked this rumor where like all of them had these weird like spooky abilities where they could like jump really high or disappear into the fog. It was like they had this fucking weird ass legend about them. It was great.
Oh God! What if we look back in time and we found out that Jesus was a time traveler, but just a magician with a cheap magic kit?
I saw I actually did see one post that I thought was pretty funny. Was if I had a time machine, I would go back in time all the way back to see Jesus preaching to like preaching to the people. And he's like, however, how I imagine they would go is that I would go and see Jesus talk to the people, and he's speaking to them in you know Hebrew or Aramaic or whatever. And
Yes.
and then in the middle of his speech, he just stares at me and then says in perfect English, "You're not supposed to be here." And then boom, I'm back. It's like
I get high and I think of things,
well, yeah,
and
that's what you do.
I like to ask smart people like you, because this is a thought I had last night.
Okay.
When was the Bible written?
Well, that's a tough question, but definitely definitely in ancient human history. Uh, I can't really say when the Bible was actually written, but there's things that I've heard people say all the time where they say stuff like oh, Jesus never existed. You know what I mean? It's like, well, no, that's not true. There's historical proof that Jesus existed. You know what I mean? It's just like there's historical proof that the shit that they say in the Bible existed at one point. But
Well, yeah, but back in the day when there was no internet or phone or any communication whatsoever,
right,
when after Jesus died, every member of Jesus's family went door to door and told the story
right.
in Jesus's point of view.
Jesus's death and resurrection is what kicks off the New Testament. And
Okay, so we have an approximate thing of when the Bible was written. Okay, was there any other books written then that were any good? That was the
Uh,
question. Now that was my indica thought of the night before going to bed. It's
okay.
like, with like Shakespeare didn't come for like thousands of years after that. I'm trying to think of the
No.
earliest writings that were good.
I would say Plato's The Republic. That's a good one. It's basically a. It's sort of like a. It's kind of like if you're reading a play, but it's a dramatized version of the story of Socrates and his incarceration and execution. But Plato was his star pupil, so of course he knew every detail. So this was the story. The Republic is the story of Socrates from Plato's perspective, and
Okay, well, there's
it's
one book.
actually, yeah, that's a good book. I Some people think it's boring, but I actually really like Sun Tzu's Art of War. It's a very interesting read.
Well, no, this is, but thousands of years after Jesus, the Bible was written.
Uh,
I'm talking like
well,
BC literature. I don't think
yeah,
exists, does it?
both of those books were BC.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm see now. I've learned. I'm wrong
The Odyssey was BC. That was written by Homer.
because in my mind, the Bible's the only book that survived that. There was no other books.
Well, I mean, there's the other holy books if you're talking about the Bible, but there's also books like the Quran and the Talmud and shit like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but those are also holy books that they say have existed for thousands of years.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't want to get into a religious debut tonight because that turns people off. But
Right, right. But yeah, you're talking about
can
from the more of the historical
we, no,
standpoint.
I'm just saying, can we just knock this Catholic shit off? Enough. Have you not figured out
Uh,
yet that they're evil and they're bad? Come on.
the Catholics have been doing Catholic shit pretty much ever since Jesus died. So
I mean, do
if
people
they had,
realize that the Catholics were the original ISIS, cutting people's heads off and shit?
see, you say that, but the first and second crusades were kind of inevitable. They definitely went overboard because they had, I think, 6 or 7 crusades. Um, but the first two were, at least in my opinion, from what I have gathered, they were at least kind of warranted because the Muslims were swarming all over Europe and they were enforcing their religious laws, Sharia law, onto all of these different countries that were Catholic. And they either like welcomed them and they're just like, well, we don't, you know, we're not going to fucking hurt you, but we're not going to, we're not going to kill you just because you're a Muslim. But eventually, when you have enough Muslims in a little city and you have more of them than the Catholics, well, then you just end up taking over the city, and then you move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then eventually, the Vatican started getting word that, hey, it looks like we're getting invaded, and every time we've tried to make peace with them and tried to reason with them, they either tell us to fuck off or they kill us. So either we fight back or we just surrender.
Yeah, and it's just weird. It's weird that all these people, through all these thousands of years, have lost all of this blood for nothing over this
for a
stupid
fucking
book.
for a fucking desert.
A fucking book. One book. Thank God. Thank God we're not Jesus, and people do what we tell them to do.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think anybody would want to be Jesus considering what happened to him.
I consider myself closer to Jesus than most people that go to church.
I would disagree with you on that one, but go on.
Like I don't. I'm not better than anybody. I will listen to anybody's story. I will help anybody out that deserves help. I don't judge any person I ever run into. I don't care who you are. And I don't get excited if people have money. That doesn't excite me if somebody's rich. That's
Yes,
more of
but
Jesus' teachings than they do in church or in the
yes,
Vatican, sitting on the like gold over there.
yes, but Jesus was abstinent, unlike you.
Well, I'm here. I'm healing women. I'm here helping these women.
Not according to the church.
I don't know if you've seen Stella Got a Groove Back, but a lot of Stellas leave the Kush condo very happy. No, I'm kidding. What an asshole! What kind of a dick would be like that? Well, I
Uh,
put my magical penis in some women, and you know what? It changed their lives. Susan
wait,
now is running her own business.
isn't that every member of ZZ Top?
Yes, this is a top.
Z Top.
I love what they did in the '80s because let's face it, ZZ Top are ugly men. They're not attractive men.
That's why they grew out the beard so they could hide their face.
Uh, do you know they used to pay chicks to hang out with them?
Well, yeah, it's part of the look.
So, like every time ZZ Top went anywhere, they would have these 6 chicks with them, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, those dudes are banging those chicks." In the meantime, that big fat pig with the glasses and high forehead and the weird jowls carrying the luggage—that's his real wife.
Yeah, and she's there to make sure that those girls are there to be eye candy and nothing else.
And one of the ones was the chick from Dharma and Greg. She was a ZZ Top whore.
Huh.
Her job was to, anytime ZZ Top went outside, was to hang out with ZZ Top.
It sounds like an easy gig to me.
Yeah, you show up for 5 minutes, walking into a building, they would leave. The concert's over, she'd show up 5 minutes before they leave, get back in the bus with them. They'd drop her off at the next bus station and fly her out to the next city for the tour. Crazy.
Damn, this sounds like an easier gig than being in a fucking band.
I know. She didn't fuck them or nothing.
How much did they pay?
Model fees, like standard model fees, so it was maybe like $10,000, maybe a $5,000 appearance fee.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, leggy, hot, and like, oh my God, this is easy. I'm going to play guitar. If those guys can get laid, so can I.
Yeah, it's.
And by the way, once I started learning guitar, and I thought I'd be able to play the whole ZZ Top catalog in 12 minutes. I can't play one song right yet, so that fucking guy's a monster on the guitar.
Blues is very tricky. It's if you're trying to learn how to play ZZ Top, then you should look up how to play. It's a thing that's called pentatonic thirds. It's basically what most rock, blues, and metal strives on is that chord progression is pentatonic. Is also referred to as the pentatonic blues scale, because like if you can look up an exercise for the pentatonic thirds or pentatonic fifths, and you just learn the finger pattern and the muscle memory, then you'll figure out rock and blues a lot faster.
Yeah, it's like 2-5, 2-4, 2-4, 2-4, 2-5, 2-5.
Yes, actually, that was yeah, you got that right.
I'm learning, brother. I'm learning.
Yeah, all right. But the thing about that is that you can do that pattern pretty much anywhere on the neck, and it'll still sound like a pentatonic scale. Like if you start the pentatonic scale on the root note of the third fret of the first string, which is G, that would be the pentatonic scale of G. So if you're playing a song where the first chord they play is the G chord, then if you just noodle around on that G pentatonic scale, well then boom, you're playing lead. And then the next chord is A. All right, then you do the A pentatonic scale and you just noodle around on that. That's literally all you do.
And then there's ZZ Top. That's the timing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot more effort into it than that. You still got to practice. You still got to look up the notes and where to fucking play them. But yeah, it's easier than it seems, but it's not entirely easy.
Yeah, my goal in life is to play that riff. What's the name of the song? Have mercy. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Got
Yeah,
my brown paper bag. You know,
you could
that's the.
probably learn that. I mean, not right now, obviously, but with some practice, you could probably learn that real quick.
No, I've been practicing it, and it's like nah, no, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
it's gonna take a while, yeah, but I'm working on it.
yeah. It's. I'll tell you, I've been kind of like noodling with the guitar like most of my life, but the one time I actually decided I'm going to sit down and actually learn how to play this fucking thing, I would say it took me like a solid year of just constant practice every day before I actually felt confident in my guitar playing. It was a year of me just doing nothing but playing sour notes and my fingers are in the wrong position. It was like this thing isn't tuned properly. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What the hell is a pinch harmonic? Like it was literally a year of me just sucking so much ass and just painfully just going through it. And then eventually it clicked. And then I still suck, but at least I can play chords.
Yeah, I was getting really discouraged, and I decided to take a guitar lesson from Zach Wild. He has a guitar lesson online.
hmm
Because if I could play like Zach Wild, I could probably get laid. No, I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
kidding. So here's this guitar lesson, right? He did one guitar
Yep.
lesson. He said, okay, here's guitar lesson number one. Buy yourself a Les Paul. Okay. I got a Les Paul copy. And then he also said, buy yourself a Marshall stack.
Yes.
Okay. And he goes, and then what you need to do is you practice every day till it sounds good. Don't buy pedals. Don't buy anything else. Just sit in
Yep.
your room with your Les Paul and your Marshall. And when you start sounding like Angus Young, then you're getting somewhere. I was like, and that was the end of the lesson. It's like, well, what are the no? Okay, just play every day and don't fuck with gear, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. You fucking with your gear and the tone and shit, that comes later. You need to figure out your technique first.
Which brings me on to a video I watched last night.
Mhm.
Dad, I am Segway Johnny tonight. I'm telling you, I'm pretty good at these segues tonight. I watched a guy last night trying to replicate the sound of In Utero on guitar.
Okay.
And he bought 18 Fender Mustangs. Not one of them sounded right.
Nope.
And then he found out, no, he played this weird guitar. I still don't remember the name of it. It was such a weird ass guitar that Kurt played. And he bought one of those on eBay for $3,600.
Of course.
Plugs it in, hits two notes. He goes, nope, it's not it. So he keeps calling and bugging the producers, and they're like, I don't even know, man. He played guitar. I don't know what guitar he used, what pickups were in there or whatever. So he researched, and he found this guitar with a mahogany neck and the right Fender amp. And by God, I noticed the difference right away. I'm like, holy shit, it does make a difference. I never thought gear made that much of a difference. But once you know how to play it,
Mm-hmm.
gear makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. 100% it does. And there are some people like uh, what's like Jeff Beck. I don't know if you're familiar with Jeff Beck.
Oh
Um,
God, whoa, Jesus.
yeah,
We
yeah,
could do an 8-hour podcast on the brilliance of Jeff Beck. My God.
yeah. That's a motherfucker who can literally, and he's done this many times, where he literally just would go and get an amplifier from like a fucking pawn shop, just some like training amplifier, and he would just plug in his guitar, fiddle around with the settings, and just go like, "Yep, that's good," and then just go record with that. And it's the most mind-boggling shit you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, I know. Like another example is Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes, Josh
They did
Homme.
that.
Yeah.
They did that record with a fucking gorilla amp,
Yes.
a 20-watt gorilla, the worst amplifier ever made in the history of amplifiers, and recorded one of the greatest sounding records of all time.
Yeah.
How? How?
It's it's very it's very much a weird mix of talent, but if you have the talent but you don't have the gear, well, you're gonna sound like shit no matter what. But if you have the gear but you don't have the talent, well, then you're gonna sound like shit, but it's going to be amplified just how shitty you are. So it's a mix of both.
And if you think we're lying, there's a video up of Joe Satriani playing Surfing with the Alien on a Fender Student $199 guitar pack.
Yes.
Right out of the box, not even set up, just tuned into that shitty 10-watt amp. And my God, it was fucking Surfing with the Alien. Uh, He's got his live rig consists of 80,000 effects and all that, but it's all the hands. Comes back to Zach Wild's most important lesson to it all.
Yeah.
You get an amp and a guitar and play till it sounds good.
Yeah. That's literally it. You just keep playing as much as it discourages you, and as much as you think like I'm never going to be good enough. You just have to keep going, and then eventually it'll click, and you'll figure out how to play guitar. It's just that initial hump is the fucking hardest, and it is the worst.
And speaking of guitars, I just added a new baby to the collection today.
You could barely play guitar, and you've already started a collection.
I do. I bought a guitar today. It spoke to me. There's something weird about it. It's loud. It's really
Okay.
loud. It's
What
really
what?
loud, unplugged, like loud. Like I've
Okay.
never heard a guitar that's this loud.
What brand is it?
Okay, it's a Fender Stratocaster.
Good.
Um, it's heavier than my Les Paul.
Okay.
Okay, so imagine like you have a Stratocaster, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Okay, they're fairly light, right? Fairly light.
The cheap ones, yeah.
Okay, this one weighs almost 3 times the amount of a regular Stratocaster. Like when the guy handed it to me, I almost dropped it. It was so heavy.
Did he give you any details on it, like the year it was made or anything like that?
So I ran it through the serial number on the Fender website,
Yeah.
and it's a 1986. Which I was like, oh, please be an 87, like my cars and everything. I'm an 87 guy. It was an 86.
Damn.
Made in the USA Fender.
Motherfucker, you might have just got yourself a genuine moneymaker on your hands. If that is an authentic 86 American Stratocaster, that might be worth some serious dough.
Yeah, well, I gave the guy at the pawn shop $400 for it.
That dumb motherfucker.
And not because I was trying to screw him or anything, but just the minute I hit it, I'm like, I got to have it. I don't care how much it is.
Yeah.
I've never heard a guitar this loud. It's 3 times heavier, and it's 3 times louder than any electric guitar I've ever tried in my entire life. I don't know. The thing is magic. It's like maybe it's Satan put it in my hands, and I played it, and oh my God, it just plays so much better than my cheap $35 guitar.
Yeah, that was back when American Fenders were still quality and it actually meant something. But yeah, you might want to look into that and see if that guitar is actually. I'm sure it's worth a decent chunk of change, way more than $400 for sure.
I mean, it's beat up. I love it. It's got fucking cracks and neck needs the truss rod needs to be adjusted. I don't know. I got to take it to a guy, I guess, and have that. I don't want to do it without knowing what to do.
Yeah, especially if the truss rod needs to be adjusted. Yeah, you probably don't want to do that shit yourself.
Yeah, the neck is a little bowed right now, so hopefully we can save that. But if not, I'll just hang it and it'll look cool.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I've never played a guitar like that before. And the guy at the place too, he goes, I think this is a Chinese knockoff. And I'm like, I don't think so. He goes, because he kept saying how heavy it was. He goes, I've never had a Stratocaster this heavy. And I'm like, it is really heavy. Like the body's made of cement heavy. But maybe it was just a year where they were using weird dense woods or something in the 80s. I have to really, but it is a magical guitar.
Well, if it's like really the only thing that I would say that it might be genuine is because if it looks like it's old and beat up, well then yeah, it might be genuine because there have been a lot of times where I have seen people like show off guitars that they buy online or shit guitars that people have handed me where they're just like, "Oh yeah, this is an American Stratocaster," and I hold it for like 5 seconds and I'm just like, "This is fake." And
Yeah.
like I don't even like I can feel that this is fake. And they're like, "What do you mean?" And it's like, "What year was this made?" And it's like, "Oh, it said that this was made in 2006." I'm like, "No, dude, this feels like this was made yesterday." You know what I mean? It's like this doesn't feel like a 10-year-old guitar.
It just, yeah, there's got to be some environmental damage to it. Some weight has got to be added just from the oils and
Right. Like I
humidity and
have
shit in the neck over the years. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's got to be some like scuff mark, a scratch, a dent. Like, I mean, unless it was taken care of by somebody that obviously knew what they were doing. But again, even then, you can even look at the fucking case that it was in and tell if it was used up. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit going on in the guitar world right now with these guys.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
the relic guitars, buying them all scratched up, like you were saying. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
a '64. No, it's not. It's a reissue. It's 10 times lighter.
Yeah. I was thinking of an idea. Here's an idea for if I ever go on Shark Tank. Um,
Oh
so
wait, we got to get a button that goes Shark Tank idea 788.
yes, it was an idea that I had, but realistically speaking, it would be way too expensive. But I thought it would be really cool to do. Is you know that there are some bands where they purposefully pay people to fuck up their guitars because they want them to look fucked up when they're on stage. You
Yeah.
know, so the idea that I had was that you would give me your guitar and or your bass and I would take off the neck and the strings and then I would put it somewhere and then at key points on the guitar I would shoot it with a pistol and leave like genuine bullet holes in your guitar and then I could like just gloss it over and sand it and all that and then just reassemble your guitar and then boom it's good to go. But I've tried it out on some I tried it out on some junk guitars that I got just to see if it would even work and I was just like nah, like every time I've tried it's like no, that shit just straight up exploded. There's no way I can like guarantee that I could do this without ruining somebody's guitar. But it was a cool idea.
It really is. I like being. No, they can. I think it's a young guy thing versus an old guy thing because all the old guys had to have the guitars pristine. Like if they like looked at it wrong or got a hair on it or something, they would yell at you, "Don't touch it! Don't look at it! Gotta keep it new."
Well, I don't think it's really any different now because certain guitars just go up and up and up in value every day.
Yeah, but now it's the cool thing to buy the brand new guitar that's relicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, come on, man. Now you got to earn that on the road, like a real
Yeah.
guitar player.
Yeah. But there are just some guitar fanatics out there that'll just buy anything. Like I'm sure one that I know that blows my fucking mind is David Gilmour of Pink Floyd.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that you heard that he sold his some select guitars in his collection for auction.
Yeah, they go for like $2 million. Oh, pause is popped on. He's late, but he can watch and talk now.
Cool, awesome,
Sort of.
welcome.
He can
Sort
sort of
of.
watch and talk now, but that's fine.
Okay.
We're cool. We're not angry at you. We understand
No.
what's going on. We love you, brother.
Yeah,
And trust
yeah,
me, if I'd known she was doing a thing in that, we'd be watching it with you.
exactly.
I do not like to give up. I do not like to give up any opportunity to see that lovely lady. But we got jobs to do over here. Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, we have a schedule. Believe it or not,
God
we have a schedule.
damn it. We got to schedule her back on.
Yeah, we do.
We got to boost the ratings up a little bit here. We got to get some hot women on here. Apparently, guy talk ain't working.
Yeah, apparently, Stone Guy talk just isn't marketable.
Yeah, I mean, Cheech and Chong's been doing it for 60 years, but
Yeah,
pause.
somehow
Do you see how beautiful your position is on the show now? Look at how beautiful. I'm really impressed. I don't know why, but we should have more live chats. I don't get what's going on out there with these people. But back to guitar talk.
Yeah, but yeah, one of those guitars that David Gilmour sold at auction was a Fender. It was a Fender guitar. It was, I forget what model it was, but it was one of the first Fender guitars ever made of that model. And I do know, and it's guaranteed that it is one of the first Fenders ever made because it had the serial number of 00001.
What do you think what did that bring?
What did it sell for?
Yeah, was it like $2 million or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was close to 2 million.
That's crazy. I wish I had a ton of money. Plus, we're going to get it up there, so we don't have to beat around the bush.
Yeah,
what
right?
he's saying behind the scenes anymore. I'm very excited.
He says I was also watching someone else as well and playing a game, tripping, streaming. So yeah, this dude's multitasking.
This dude's an animal, man. Straight up animal. How does his brain work like that? God, I think maybe the goddamn project would maybe make me a better podcast host to be able to do that much shit at the same time. I need that training. What's that project? What was that?
I don't think you need. I don't think you need to be. You need astral projection training in order to figure out how to multitask.
You think after doing this for 15 years, I'd be better at it, right?
You'd think.
God, I just... Okay, before we leave tonight, I really want to get into the absolute train wreck of me trying to get the show to sound better. It's literally driving me to a point of almost getting ready to check into a mental institution. Now, Cox Cable is the only cable I can get with high-speed internet at my house. Right?
How? You're in Vegas. There's no other options?
Apparently not. Where I live.
Okay.
$146 a month, 1 gig of internet. Right? Supposed to be high speed, the best of the best. I can 3D print something in China from here. Speed, right? Like they show on TV. Me and my friend are going to be playing football online outside somehow. I don't know. Wednesday night I go on, and I literally am in heaven. I can hear I can hear my voice. I finally got my monitor back. I know what I sound like when I'm live, and it's a huge difference. I don't know if you've tried that yet.
No, I haven't yet.
When you do that, like literally, it just changes you secondly of knowing where your pauses are and stuff and what you're doing wrong. You can hear it right then. It's amazing. I got sound effects, audience, and all that. I go on when I do it. I talked a little bit like that. It sounds like a fucking tin can. Internet interruptions. Bullshit here, bullshit there. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's StreamYard. I will try the Rumble Studio with all of the high-tech gear, the internet, the Apple computer. I got it all. I got an interface, the red one, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But everything you need to be a podcaster and to be sound professional.
Sure.
And Rumble, for some reason, it won't give me a monitor back out of the studio. It's new. I understand. They'll fix it sooner or later. I'm not going to complain about the Rumble Studio because it actually is working lately. I go through, do 4 episodes, trying all this new shit, trying to turn up gains, trying to do all of the, just when you get into it, you're a musician, you understand when you're like recording stuff and it just starts piling on you.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, I need to do this. Oh, shit, I got to go back and do that. And then I got to reprogram this. And maybe I just need to reboot everything. And you know what I mean? You go, man.
Yeah, you want to go in and do something, but there's something in the tech that's fucking with you, and you can't tell if it's the software, if a cable isn't working, or if the battery in your bass is fucking dead. It's always something.
It's something. So I try and I look and I run. I go. Somebody goes, "Why don't you run a speed test on your internet?" Okay, so I run a speed test. It's at 187 BPS or whatever. It's 10% of what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
I run the speed test just on my 5G phone. The what do you call it? When you should share it or whatever.
Yeah, the hotspot.
The hotspot on my 5G phone is 3 times faster than the 1 gig internet. The hotspot's running at 760.
So is this the time for me to talk to you about our Lord and Savior Elon Musk and his Starlink?
I know. I keep hearing. I heard you when in the back of my mind when I run that speed, and I call up Cox and they say I'm crazy and they're going to send a guy out. So we'll see tomorrow when the guy comes out. What the fuck is going on?
Maybe someone's stealing your internet.
It's one thing if it's Wi-Fi. I connected it right into the Ethernet cable from the back of the computer right into it. No Wi-Fi.
Yeah, then that should make it faster. Yeah, something's definitely up. But it might just be Cox, to be honest. But if that doesn't work out for you, you might want to look into Starlink.
And I knew it was a problem because I watch Melton's meltdown every night. He's 2 houses down from me, and he's got the same internet issues. It's just, doing content's hard enough, but fighting the technology and trying to do the content at the same time, it hurts you sometimes.
I know you're trying your damnedest, and then everything's just fucking you over at every turn.
So everybody, have some patience with me. We are going to be there very shortly, and I can't wait till we get there, until we figure this internet thing out once and for all, and just get the fucking Starlink and put the fucking thing out by my pool. But yeah, in Las Vegas, there should be better internet options than one.
I'm sure there are, but they're just contracted by the fucking hotels and the casinos and shit. They don't need to wire out to everyday people.
Yeah, so you can't be selling shit. I'm going to sue them.
You're going to sue them.
I mean, that's just false advertising. It really ruined my whole day. That's worth at least $40 in pain and suffering.
You're going to sue them for $40 of pain and suffering.
You watch them try to settle for $5. That's a good. I'll take it.
Yeah, show up on an episode of Judge Judy.
But no, it is what it is. You know. What are you gonna do?
It's always a struggle, man.
But that's it for tech news tonight, Johnny. Stupid Johnny. You know, maybe if I would just try to do it not high, it might work better too. I don't know.
It might help.
You know,
But
marijuana
this is
might not kill your career, but it might kill the quality of the sound of your podcast. It might not kill your kids.
yeah, maybe. Or maybe sober Johnny would be even less of a help because you would just be frustrated and yelling at inanimate objects.
And then I decided to record a little bit, and that special microphone I got that I thought was going to sound so cool, it fucking sucks. Paid a lot of money for that thing.
I mean, you probably have to fuck with the settings. I mean, did you like mess with the gain and all that shit? Because you do gotta tweak it. You can't just like plug it in fresh out of the box.
Oh no, there was a 12-hour tweak.
12 hours.
I got up excited. I told everybody. I told Nas. I'm like, dude, finally, tonight I'm stepping up my game. You need to check it out. I get a message the next day, and he's like, that sounded so good, buddy. Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, good dude.
So back to the drawing board, but this is our best option right now. This is the best thing we can do at this point. And is it perfect? No. Is it terrible? Not really. It's been worse.
Yeah, it's definitely been worse. But it's nice to see that But it's nice to see that Rumble is at least trying to make some changes to try and improve itself, make it easier on us.
Yeah, so I tried to do the same thing on StreamYard, and I did a few episodes on there like I normally do, and it just sounded like shit. It just sounds better over here.
How bizarre.
That's weird. You know, the board's a fucking nightmare, but at least it sounds better.
I guess that's ultimately what's more important in the end, is at least we sound good.
Better.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're still going through our indie phase.
I feel like our indie phase is going to go on for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we still got just fucking 300 episodes of of the video game, and we got plenty of episodes. People are still going to be talking about weed until the end of time.
Oh yeah, not just us.
All right, so before we leave tonight, Paz is here. He has emerged. He enjoys multi-streaming. He loves to share the good vibes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everybody else is going to bed. See, we outlast everybody. We stay up later than everybody, so there's nothing else to watch but us.
Yeah. Perks of being on the West Coast. Everybody else goes to bed, but the party's just getting started over here.
Yeah, it's only 12:30 for Christ's sakes. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're on so late." I'm like, "It's midnight."
Yeah.
When we stop, it's 10 p.m. When is 10 p.m. too late? What is wrong with people? It really is. There's something going on since a post-pandemic where really a lot of people go to bed early, like never before.
Well, yeah, people have jobs and responsibilities and shit.
No, but I mean, like there used to be like people in bars every night and at the restaurants every night. Now people are just at home in bed by 8:00.
Well, yeah, because the pandemic, like you said, and then there's fucking drugs that are lined with perks, or fucking, like it's laced with shit that will kill you. Like, there's just a bunch of shit going on out there where it's just like, nah, dude, I'd rather just be at home.
It's over, man. The American social system is over.
I don't know if
And
that's necessarily a bad thing.
no, and I got one. My story from today, my last story of the night. It is so my neighbor got a package sent over.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally was put at my door today. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. And it was, I don't know what it was, but it was kind of heavy. It was about maybe 30 pounds, kind of a decent sized box. I don't know what the fuck was in it. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I go over, knock on the lady's door, and she goes to the ring camera. Who are you? All scared. I'm like your neighbor. There's a package next door that they put on my door accidentally. Oh, can you bring it over? And I'm like, you don't have anybody to bring it over? It's like heavy. And she's like,
Well,
no, it's just me and my husband. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll bring it over.
yeah, if it's an
Bring
old lady, she ain't gonna fucking move that shit.
Yeah, so I think they did it on purpose so somebody would fucking bring it in their house. So I get to the door and I ring the bell. I'm ready to. I'm like, can I set it here? And she's like, would you bring it in? I'm like, this is how I get murdered.
Yeah.
And I says, well, you have to open the door because I'm a vampire. I have to be invited in.
Yeah, you have to invite me in. Those are the rules. As stupid as that rule is, and I hate it, those are the rules.
And honestly, live that. Live those rules. You'll have a lot less
Yes.
problems in life. Don't go to places you're not invited to.
That is a good rule to have.
You follow the vampire rules and you'll live a good life. Long life. So I get there and she's like, "Would you bring in?" I go like, she comes and opens the door. Okay, so this lady scared me. I think she was dead. I think she died maybe 100 years ago. I think they're literally a real vampire people.
You were talking to a ghost.
Okay, so she's got the white hair, the red eyes. You know what I mean? Like rabbits when they get the red eyes. The old people,
Yeah.
like you could like see through their skin.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a t-shirt that's kind of long, but not long enough. And below the t-shirt, this woman is wearing a diaper.
Yeah.
Not a normal diaper, a saggy diaper.
She's an old woman.
And I'm like, ugh. I'm in shock. And then I hear from the side, "Can you set them over there? These are my books." And I look over. And there's a naked man, but he had a blanket over his stuff. You know what I mean? He wasn't like naked, but I could tell he wasn't wearing anything.
Right.
Maybe 500 pounds.
Jesus.
Laying in a bed in the living room. Garbage everywhere, dog shit everywhere. He's laying there like Jabba the Hutt, and he's got one of those fucking like CPAC masks on.
Yep.
And I go, "Where do you want it?" He's like, "Could you set him over here?" I'm like, "Oh my God, that boy, what is going on? Am I on? I'm not even stoned yet. This is first thing in the afternoon."
You set the books down, and he's like, "I'm definitely gonna need a joint after this."
I sat him down and I walked out of the house. And they're like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "I can't look at you, lady, with that diaper. I am scarred. The diaper is one thing, but the soggy diaper, I will never." The fat man with the CPAC machine. It was literally Jabba the Hutt. And I'm like, literally, is that guy, apparently fat guy, just sits there, eats pizzas because he had like 8 pizza box stacked up next to him, and reads books, while a lady with a soiled diaper walks around screaming at him all day.
What the fuck else is he gonna do?
Why do you let yourself get like that?
Well, the old lady can't really do anything about that. She's old.
And as I'm walking back to my house, How do these people afford to live there? How is that guy made any? How does I have too many questions that I don't want answered.
Yeah. There's probably those are probably questions you don't want answers to.
I am not Mr. Clean guy, but what the fuck is with these slobs? With the garbage everywhere.
Cleaning is exercise.
You know, being poor is no excuse for being dirty.
I mean, depends on your level of poor. If you're homeless, well then yeah, you don't really have much of a choice.
I just don't get it. There's young guys like you busting their ass 40 hours a week, putting fucking grinding their ass out, eating shit every day. Can't afford rent, but those fucking slobs can live in a $3 million house? Well, what the fuck is going on? Was it
Really,
inheritance? Did they inherit the house? I don't understand it.
yeah.
How all these people sit around, do nothing. Well, I'm one of them, but uh, how does most of America don't do anything?
I it has to be fucking well, like you said, it's got to be disability or inheritance or something. But I mean, if you had the money to where if you don't need to work, would you?
Well, I'm not. I'm in that position right now. No, I don't need to work. No,
Well,
there's no need
yeah,
to.
yeah, but there are some people where they take that and they use that time to find themselves, or they improve on themselves, or they find a hobby or something. But there are some people where if they don't have a job, then they don't have a fucking purpose, and that's just what they do, is they just sit around, watch TV, and eat themselves to death, because what the fuck else are they going to do? They don't have any purpose.
Oh, that's what I'm currently doing.
But you're actually doing something. Like, say what you want about this show and what you're doing on Rumble and all that shit, but at least you're trying. You're doing
Yeah,
something,
at least I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of people, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And they sit in this garbage can of misery. That guy, my God, what kind of life is that? Laying there with a machine on your face, just sitting there, not being able to move. Oh my God, no. Please, no.
Yeah.
I'm
It's rough.
gonna back up on the pizzas this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not eat 8 of them in one sitting. Cut it down to about 4.
Oh my God. Ugh. And I'm not here to shame anybody, but it really caught me off guard. I didn't expect those people living next door to me. When
It
you move into a
really.
certain neighborhood, all I really see is young moms walking dogs all day. You
What
never
you think
see
either
those?
of those? Do you think either of those guys are going to be out for a fucking walk?
No, I don't think those people leave their house at all.
Exactly.
I don't think they even leave to get food. I think everything's delivered. And then they make poor people bring it into their house because they're too fat or their diapers are so soiled they can't. Oh my God, what the fuck is going on with humanity?
Isn't the future great?
You know what? You know what's gone? Shame.
Yep.
Shame. Nobody in
Shame.
19. No, when did nobody till 2010 left the house without brushing their hair? Now there's no shame. You didn't see anybody before the 2010 shopping in their pajamas because they were shamed. You didn't see fat ladies wearing revealing clothing with rolls of fat hanging out the front of their jeans because they would be shamed. There's no
Yeah.
shaming. Everybody's too afraid to shame. There's my Larry David moment of the night. Too afraid to shame.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. People are too scared to speak the truth, and that's considered that can be considered shaming at some points. Which, yeah, it can be for sure. But I think that there are some points where shaming is ultimately the better thing to do. Like, how many, like, there's so many, uh, what's the term, like, like body positivity. You know what I mean? Where they're just like,
Yes.
yeah, you should accept people as they are, regardless if they are overweight or skinny or anything like that. He's like, okay, sure, on paper, yeah, that's a great idea. But how many times have you seen a story of somebody who overcame their obesity or lost a ton of weight just because their friends and family will not bug them about how fat they are? If they were 100% supportive and just like, no, you just be you, man. If this is what makes you happy, you go and do it. That motherfucker would be dead.
But yeah, you would.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen to that guy. And he's just gonna be Jabba the Hutt with a CPAP machine until he has a fucking stroke or a heart attack and he dies. If he actually put in any fucking effort to try and I'm not saying you should go out there and be a fucking bodybuilder and flipping cars and shit, but there are some things that you need to do just to maintain your body, because even just from sitting around and doing nothing, I think it's said that like if you do nothing but rest for 3 days straight, your body does start to degrade. You lose your muscle, you lose your strength. That's
Well,
how it
yeah.
works.
When I was in the hospital for the multi surgeries over the years, they give you a pill that you have to take so your body doesn't fall apart because it's not from not moving.
Right. Your body needs to keep moving. It's how it works.
And I made fun of a guy the other night, and then I tried it, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is a genius. He's a let me give him a plug here, the hair metal guru,
Okay.
and he just talks about hair metal and shit. You know, he's a hair metal guy and has guests on. He had I don't know, I think maybe I don't know the keyboard player from Ozzy in '87 or whatever. You know, they have the guys on.
Right.
But he does an interview, and then every 20 minutes, he gets up, grabs his camera, walks around his room, sits down, puts the camera back up, and continues the episode. I'm like, what are you doing, nerd? What do you? And then I'm like, oh, wait. He's trying to keep a circulation going so he doesn't die. um,
Yeah.
Last night when we did our show, a 3-hour show, I normally just sit there and don't move. I got up and was moving back and forth for a little bit every 20 minutes. It made
Hmm.
a difference in my broadcasting. And I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad idea, dude. I made fun of you for 2 days and then I tried it. And I'm not, I hate to say it, but you were right, old guy. I love it.
Yeah. I think there's definitely something to that. You sitting around in a chair doing nothing for hours on end. Yeah. And then you stand up and you move and you do stuff. Yeah. It's definitely going to affect your not in the long run, but for like the rest of the day, yeah, that's definitely going to affect you.
So that's a little insight to all you broadcasters out there. Maybe get up and just walk around just a little bit every once in a while, so you don't get so stagnant. It tends to keep
Yeah.
your brain going a little quicker too, which is really cool.
So the moral of the episode is touch grass. Go take a walk.
Yes, take a walk, folks. So what did we learn? I think we're gonna wrap it up. We went a little too long again, like we always do every week, because we love you guys and we love giving you all of this free entertainment.
Exactly.
I mean, where else? Like, not once. You know what? Not once did we sit and beg for money. We didn't do any live reads. We didn't sell any boner pills.
We
We did
easily
start.
could.
We did start with a fake cupcake commercial that was more of a practical joke on my co-host than anything else. And we don't have commercials here. It's a joke, people. Yeah, I saw your commercial. No, it's a joke commercial. Those don't count.
I'm not gonna lie though, I would like to be sponsored by a cupcake store. Getting sponsored in cupcakes would be nice.
Who wouldn't? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a cupcake?
Psychopaths.
I used to have a roommate that one more stupid Bert Kreischer story tonight. Like, it's like Johnny's always got a story for everything, and I know that's what podcasting is, right? I don't know.
Yeah. That's literally
So
what
like
podcasting is about.
I won't talk to people like this in normal life. I don't have to interject another story. But, I'm not trying to, put 3 hours of content out in a normal conversation. But anyways, Bert can fucking fill fucking 6 years of shit with his stories.
Somehow.
And I'm so high, I forgot what I was talking about. Fuck me. It was really good, too.
Of course it was.
All right. Well, I'll remember it at about 4 a.m. tonight what I was going to talk about. But
Yeah, I'm gonna get a message from you in all caps saying like, "Oh fuck, I remembered it."
600 milligrams, folks. This is 3 times what Joey Diaz does. Just putting it out there.
I'm surprised you're still standing, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not standing. I'll tell you that.
Well, you get what I mean.
let's-
It's a figure of speech.
We've given the people what they wanted. 2 hours or 3 hours of 2 guys getting too stoned. We have no business being here, but we're here.
Nope.
And deal with it.
Nope, we're here. If you like it, if you don't like it, we're not going anywhere. And until YouTube or Rumble kicks us off, we're staying.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how long this goes. I'm surprised that they've put up with our shit this long, to be honest.
I've been really careful with this channel. This is the Two Stone channel on YouTube. This not even. I don't even put anything else on there anymore. I don't want to risk it.
It's probably safe.
No reason for a risk. And before we leave, we got one thing left from Pause. He's saying, I built a swing that holds me at a weight of 320 pounds. Encourage me to get outside.
Yeah, swinging would probably be a good exercise. Get the legs working.
Yeah, I'm sure that ain't about strapping a lady down and you lazy fucker. Literally, he's a lazy fucker. He's lazy when he fucks. He has to put a woman on a swing.
I mean, unless she's into it, then it has nothing to do with being lazy. Then it's just kinky.
I don't understand. Goddamn, I just the outfits. Oh, one last thing I wanted to get to before we leave tonight is the chick from the game.
Oh yeah, Jack, the voice actress for Jack on Mass Effect 2.
Went to bed in love with that woman last night. And some son of a bitch shows me the real woman. And it's like, ew, why?
Yeah, it makes you wonder why she's a voice actress and not a, actress.
It just completely just destroyed it. And I'm like, that's why we can never go to camps.
No. Yeah, it's if you look up her picture, you can tell that she kind of looks like Jack a little bit. But to be fair, that picture that they used was like a more modern picture. If you looked up a picture of her from like 2010 when that game came out, I'm sure she looked a lot better.
Yeah, I know. It's just there's that whole illusion that you build in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I love it. That's why I love doing shows like this, because I want people to create their own character in their own mind. I know it's hard to explain to people, but when people listen to us in their mind, they have created 2 characters, and this is what we talk about, how we talk. That's what they think we are, and I love that. I love that part of it.
Yeah,
That's why I
why
loved
would
radio
why,
guys.
yes, exactly. Why would we ruin it by showing you guys our faces when you could be a lot more entertaining with the theater of the mind, and you can just imagine us as floppy-headed Muppets if you want.
Exactly. And it goes back to me meeting the morning show guys at a car show in Milwaukee when I was 12 years old. Every morning before school, I get up and listen to these two rock and roll guys, out of control guys. And then we met them at the car show, and they were two middle-aged bald guys that weren't cool at all.
Of course not.
And from that day forward, I couldn't listen to the show ever again.
The illusion was ruined.
And I've listened to shows where I thought the guys were ugly. I'm like, this poor guy speaking like this. Oh, then you see him, you're like, "Ooh, that guy's handsome." It's like that Wayne's World thing with Handsome Dave.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, we like to challenge you a little bit. We bring you literally, we teach you things every week, and you don't even know what we've taught you until 6 weeks from now. You're talking about Socrates, and you've never heard about Socrates before.
Yeah, you get stoned enough, and some of the information gets burned into your brain. It's selective, but some of it will.
And not to mention the amount of 788 pitches to Shark Tank so far. Pause Reality says you should go do a show where you go on Fiverr and pay someone to animate only your previous hilarious bits. That, you know what? That doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
That's not a bad idea. However, the problem is, what money are we going to use to pay the Fiverr artists?
Yeah, that's true. I know, and I tried that at one time, and I got ridiculed so bad for my animation that I pulled it down. It hurt my feelings. And I know who did it. I know who said that. You won't tell me to this day who said it, but I know who it was. And he says he's going to come on the show, but he says your animations suck. And I'm like, you know what? They do. Maybe going the Fiverr route. Maybe instead of spending $7,000 on WrestleMania tickets, $7,000 of advertising went a long way.
I don't know about advertising, but maybe a chunk of that for advertising.
I'm just kidding. I committed fraud. Who's I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, why would you use fraud money for advertising? That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, why, actually make something of myself? I should actually promote the show. I'm going to need something to make money while I'm in prison. Maybe some of the old episodes will generate some of those Rumble rants or whatever they call them.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? We go through all this effort to make a show that goes on for like 2 years or something like that. You get thrown in jail, and then after 5 years of you being in jail, people listen to it, and then I get all the money.
I come back. Hey, can you get me out? Get out of here, you criminal.
Johnny, who?
Who? I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you.
Johnny Cush? That sounds fake as hell.
I am going to try. All right, pause. All right, you know what? I'm going to treat you as my boss, pause, this week. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to animate a clip from this week, and it's going to be good. And if it's not, I'm trying to think of an adequate punishment that would, because I have to be like, there's got to be some kind of a punishment where I'll be sweating if it doesn't get done by next week.
Right.
Maybe some kind of testicle torture or. All right. I will pay a prostitute to kick me in the nuts live on the air if I don't get an animated clip of Two Stoned Up.
Do you really
By
need to
this,
pay a prostitute for that? I'm pretty sure you could just grab any dude off the street. You could grab Jabba the Hutt and pay him to kick you in the nuts.
yeah, I want somebody with like not a lot of meat on them. I don't
Do you
want
really
to. I don't
think?
want a
Do you really
solid
think
kick.
that dude? Do you really think that dude has any capacity to kick you hard enough to do some serious damage?
Yeah, well, the whole thing is that I get it done so it doesn't have to happen.
Right. But I'm just saying, if it does happen, I don't think you need to go all the way to a prostitute. You could literally just get someone to be like, "Hey, I need you to kick me in the nuts."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe the diaper lady kicked me in the nuts from next door.
She'd probably break her shin.
My God, she looked like Jimmy Carter when they rolled him outside. That's what she looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty much how I imagined it.
get AI to do it. No, I gotta do the. Maybe I'll do claymation. And I'll go get some Play-Doh tomorrow and do still by still.
Do you have
Make
any
it like
idea
a.
how? Do you have any idea how much time that fucking takes?
Well, I got a week.
Well, yeah, you.
Yeah, that's the problem. My whole entire life, that's the problem. So right now, I'm planning to do this. Right
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, you got a week, and then tomorrow, I'm like, yeah, you got 6 days, and then 5 minutes before the episode next week, I will be frantically putting something together. I already got it. I already figured it out.
Yeah, you know what clip you're gonna use?
Uh, uh, there's already cartoons that are free domain, right?
Yeah. There's, I think, Steamboat Willie. That's free domain now.
So why not take a clip of Steamboat Willie and a penguin talking? See, it's going to be that shitty if I wait that long. But all right, pause. You're my boss this week, and challenge accepted. Because you know what, we just start needing to do shit like that. Because people don't understand what this show is. They think it's like them pot shows that me and Marco listen to when we're not doing it that suck.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I
Like
was trying to
bad.
figure out what is it that the other weed shows are doing that we aren't, and it's like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah, a lot of the guys too really are part of the reason why people want weed illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to hear a guy coughing 37 times. I don't want to hear guys doing dabs live. I I don't, I brag about doing a 600 milligram edible, but whatever. I don't need to prove myself that I can get higher than everybody else.
Right. If it's
Yeah.
if the show is called Too Stoned, it's given that we're stoned. We don't need to prove ourselves. We don't have anything to prove. We're not trying to show off. We're just like-minded people that want to gather up once a week and just talk about random shit, whether it's about music, history, politics, uh, video games, whatever the fuck it may be.
And everybody's invited. I don't care who you are, even if we've exchanged bad words. You're all invited to come on the show at any time. We're good guys over here. We're professionals. We can put all of
Exactly.
our bad shit. I can really, I'm a professional, bro. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not as evil as everybody thinks I am, even though I'm, the big guy supporting us downstairs.
Yeah, he's the one that you need to worry about, not Johnny.
I mean, he gave me a magic guitar this week, and
He sold it to you for $400.
yep, 400. All right, so I got to play guitar. Got to make some animation. I can't wait to get the internet thing figured out because then I could do my first guitar recital to the world.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be interesting for sure.
The cost could be free, he said. I'll try it. I'm going to try it. We'll have some animation next week. We kept Marco too long. He's got stuff to do.
Yeah, I have a job and shit.
You ever go to a massage parlor?
Not often, but sometimes.
Do you get the good the fancy the good massage? You know what I'm saying? The happy ending.
No, I don't go to those massage parlors.
Never.
No.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No,
It's
I
good
go to
talk.
actual massage parlors to actually fix my problems, not get jerked off.
Yeah, well, so you got to make sure the water's not too hot. It burns the inside of your asshole. Just a little tip out there for all you people, just if you need to know. Sometimes you keep the blanket in there in the microwave too long. No, I can't
And
do
they
it.
put,
I don't know. I don't like it. I can't stand any of that crap. I do it for
but you,
jokes, but no, I can't do that. You know, they don't want to do it.
no, I doubt any prostitute wants to do what they're doing. That's why they're getting paid.
You know what? Hey, stop drinking. You'll stop buying prostitutes. It's that simple. It's weird.
Yeah,
Drinking, I'm an out of control sex maniac. Smoking weed, I could sit at home and not do nothing.
exactly. Weed keeps them tame.
All right, one last thing before somebody asked me, Johnny, if you could do anything you want, what's your favorite thing to do in life? And I thought about it. It's very simple. I like to sit in a dark room alone, in a cool, dark room alone, quiet, with my own thoughts. That's what I like. That's my favorite thing to do in life. It's pretty simple.
Some people would consider that depressing.
I just love to just tune everything out. The phones, the TVs, the speed, the everything going so fast. I just love to shut it all out, shut the lights off. It's
Yeah,
too much. It's too much
yeah,
shit all the
it,
time.
yeah. I know. That's why I'm glad that I live in the woods in buttfuck nowhere because other than the occasional gunshot every now and then from people hunting or target practice or whatever, uh, I really have nothing to worry about other than birds and animal noises and maybe a dog getting loose. But yeah, it's just real fucking quiet, and for the most part, all I hear is nature. And it's so very calming and very pleasant.
Yeah, imagine being trapped in a room right now with a woman you don't even like and you can't escape. You can't even go to the bathroom without somebody bothering you.
And your only
I
escape is work.
and I just people used to be a lot easier to hang out with. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I do know what you mean. The internet and social media really did fuck things up for everybody, and people don't even realize it.
Yeah. All right. So let's get out of here. Me and Mark are literally falling asleep on the job.
Yeah, yeah, we both are.
Okay. So before you said that you don't think that dogs are aliens.
Not all dogs.
Well, I got proof. Finally
Okay.
got proof. Let me get this thing off so you can see it. That thing. We got proof that dogs are aliens. Here's a clip right here.
This dog has no license and is clearly in violation of the leash law. Call the pound.
I already did, sir. The truck is waiting outside.
Out of my way! Grab that dog! Excuse me, ma'am!
Yeah, who taught that dog how to punch?
Oh, boy.
How simple it was back then. It was like, how do we make it look like this dog punched this man? Oh, we'll just put on a dog suit on the stunt double and just have him punch him.
Scaled out a rope.
Yeah, just put the dog suit on the stunt double and have him scale down the rope. It's fine.
What did we learn tonight? I have no idea. I don't remember what we even talked about.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea either. That's why we record them.
All right, so you go ahead and you plug us out while I try to find the intro, and then we can finally go home to our families that miss us so dearly right now at 1:15 in the morning.
Yes, exactly. Our families that are just sitting there crying their eyes out. It's like, where is Father? Why does he hate us so?
Sitting around the radios with their shawls, listening to daddies do their thing.
Why does he sound so much happier when he's on the radio, Mama?
Yeah, why is that? Why is Dad such a dick when he's at home, but so cool when he's around his friends?
Well, to end this out with the plugs, of course, this channel here, MHH Network, on YouTube and Rumble for Too Stoned, the MHH News Desk, which is on hiatus until further notice, and of course, the Marijuana Happy Hour, and also for me at Marco V with 2 E's 193 on Twitter. If you want to message me and see if you want to get on this show, or if you want to join me on Twitch at Marco V 193. As we mentioned before, there's our Mass Effect playthrough. I did a playthrough of Oblivion. It was a good time. I plan on doing more. But yeah, Too Stoned on 10 p.m. Tuesdays. Me and Johnny will be on Twitch on Mondays at 10 p.m. Continuing Mass Effect. And of course, MHH Johnny's Picks on Spotify and YouTube Music. Over 30 hours of music that Johnny has played throughout the entire history of MHH Network. And also some choice picks from me as well, but mostly from Johnny. And it'll keep you entertained. It'll keep you busy, for sure. And, and at Marijuana Happy on X, if you want to message Johnny and tell him how much the show sucks, like we don't already know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long... we're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Now that I listed it out, it's like, yeah, we're doing a lot of shit for free.
Yeah, we're working really hard over here.
Yeah, somehow.
Oh, I just got news in. The news desk has been reinstated. Tomorrow Night Live, 10 p.m.
Awesome. All right, MHH Network, MHH News Desk tomorrow.
All right, I found it. Here we go.
News. A rare
All right, bro. We'll talk to you Monday.
For over $500,000.
Alrighty, man. Have a good one.
Rare dime whose
and good luck with the
remained a mystery since the late 1970s.
Your equipment and all that shit.
Just over $500,000.
Yeah, that's what she said.
You got that sticky
the old lady next door, you mean?
Yeah, I gotta do something about that.
What do you mean?
Subscribe to That's So Funny.
Like,
sticky icky.
I don't know, send a cleaning crew over or something.
Sticky icky.
That's all right,
Sticky icky.
That's
Sticky icky. Sticky icky. Sticky icky.
well, I know how to last longer in bed now. I just gotta take a seat in that lady in her diaper. That'll make me last all night.
That Abraham Lincoln.
I don't know if that would work. You might turn your dick into an idiot if you think about it too hard.
Gettysburg Address and shit, you know what I'm saying? You need that shit that frees the slaves, motherfucker.
Underground Railroad.
You need that shit.
Sticky icky.
All right, brother man.
Sticky icky.
Pause
Good
reality.
shit.
Peace out.
Sticky icky.
Peace out,
Abraham
Pause.
Lincoln.
Peace out, Johnny. I'll catch you Monday. Catch you next week. When I see ya, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever the fuck it is y'all are listening to this.
Yeah.